Good morning to one and all. Sorry for technical fault. I am Himanshu Shah from Gopinathji Mahila Arts and Commerce College, and it is our privilege to welcome all such dignitaries like Dr. Susmita Sharma, Dr. Akhilesh Mishra, Dr. Mahendra Singh Parmar, Dr. Neha Paliwal, and Dr. Dilip Joshi, sir. So it's our privilege to have you all on this platform as we all are organizing National Multidisciplinary Conference on innovations and recent trends in commerce and humanities. So it's going to be a great honor for us that you all are available over here and all the participants will get benefit from all of you. So before starting on the national conference, I would like to introduce Gopinathji Mahila Commerce College, and it was established in 2015. The basic objective for the establishment of this college was as it is situated in Shihor town. And geographically, if we talk about, then Shihor town is 25 kilometers away from Bhavnagar city. So there were many problems that students were facing that basically girls, students need to go to the Bhavnagar. And because of that, the dropout ratio after 12th standard was very high. And the girl students were facing a lot of social problems too. So, addressing to this issue, our trustee, Dr. Mr. Ramesh Rathod, and the guide, Mr. Dilip Joshi, decided to have a commerce college in Shihor town and provide the expert faculties into the Shihor area. So, with such intention to decrease the dropout ratio for the girl student in this area, this college was established in 2015 with this objective. And then after till today, till 2022, more than 1,000 girl students completed their graduation and post-graduation studies. Subsequently, in 2018, this college started its post-graduation courses in commerce and arts faculty, and this college also provides various diploma courses. So, till this time, more than 50 students achieved university rank in Maharaja Bhavnagar Krishna Kumar Seji University. So, I, Himanshu Shah, on behalf of Gopinathji Mahila Commerce College, I give a warm welcome to all the dignitaries on this virtual platform. Now, I would like to request Dr. Dilip Joshi to welcome all such dignitaries and give a brief intro about this conference. Dr. Dilip Joshi, sir. Dil- Dilip, sir, your voice is not audible.
Okay, okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Himanshu Shah. Warmly welcome to honorable dignitaries, learners, delegates, respected professors and students. A very good morning to all of you. It's privilege to welcome you all to conference of National Multidisciplinary Conference on Innovation and Recent Trade in Commerce and Humanities. I am Professor Dilip Joshi, and I feel privileged to welcome to all behalf of our Gopinathji Mahila College, affiliated to affiliated to Maharaja Krishna Kumar Siji Bhavnagar University, to on the day one day conference, national conference. So I would like to warmly welcome Professor Dr. Mahendra Singh Parmar, Department of Gujarati, MK Bhavnagar University, Sushmaji Sharma, Assistant Professor, Department of Sociology from ML Sukriya University, Udaipur, Professor Dr. Paresh Joshi, Department of English with Narmad, South Gujarat University, Surat, Dr. Akhilesh Sharma ji, Associate Professor in Department of Commerce for Sri Auditorium College, University of Delhi, Dr. Nehaji Palewal, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics, ML, सुखड़ी यूनिवर्सिटी उदयपुर, कुमुंद जी श्रीवास्तव, psychologist, counselor, Lucknow, UP. I thank you for all bottom of my heart for thanking time for your busy schedule to be guest of speaker in our conference. Welcome to all of you, speakers and delegates and participation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dilip Joshi, sir. Now, without taking much time, we are moving on with our sequence of addressing the research scholars. As it has been 2 years of COVID situation, various situations have changed drastically. As we all know that the classrooms that have been offline, and right now the classrooms have converted into the online platforms, and today we have a privilege to have all such kind of dignitaries on this platform. So first of all, I would like to introduce an expert, Dr. Mahendra Singh Parmar. Now let me introduce himself. He is chairman of Gujarati Department in Maharaja Krishna Kumar Sehji Bhavnagar University. He has an experience of more than 30 years in the teaching field. And if we talk about his expertise work, so he has written a Nibandh Sangrah, and the name of the Nibandh Sangrah is Rakhduno Kagar. Apart from this, he has written a Varta Sangrah, that is a collection of stories. And the name of its Varta Sangrah is Polytechnic and Postcard. If we talk about one of the remarkable work in this field, that he has directed one of the very famous drama, and the name of the drama is Mithyabhiman. And apart from this, he is also honored with the Sahitya Akademi Award 2020. So, having introduced such great dignitaries, Dr. Mahendra Singh Parmar, now I would like to hand over this mic to him, and I would request him to share his vast knowledge in the field of research and give its benefits to the participants. Dr. Mahendra Singh Parmar, sir.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning to all of you. Thank you, Himanshu, for introducing me in such a way. I think I have to deliver my lecture in my mother tongue, that is Gujarati. And nice to be here with such knowledgeable persons from different places. Innovation in research, that is the main theme of this conference, and I have to say something. I have very little to say about this subject, but I will try to explain what exactly I want to say by this theme. Innovation એટલે શું? રિસર્ચ જેવા એક શાસ્ત્રીય વિષયમાં ઇનોવેશન કેવી રીતે થાય? અમારા ગુજરાતી કવિ કહે છે કે તે કેવો ગુજરાતી જે હો કેવળ ગુજરાતી. એટલે ગુજરાતી રહીને કે રાજસ્થાની રહીને કે બિહારી રહીને કે પંજાબી રહીને તમે કેવી રીતે ભારતીય બનો અને શોધનો વિષય છે એ કેવી રીતે આંતરરાષ્ટ્રીય થાય? આ પ્રશ્ને તમે લોકો જુદી જુદી રીતે વિચારવાનો છો એવું હું સમજુ છું. બળવંતરાય ઠાકોર નામના અમારા ગુજરાતીના એક બહુ જ મોટા વિવેચક પંડિત યુગના એવું કહેતા હતા કે બધા સુર ખીલાવજે મનુજ ચિત્ત સારંગીના, બધા ફલક માપજે મનુજ બુદ્ધિ બ્રહ્માંડના. એટલે આ એક મલ્ટીડિસિપ્લિનરી અને ઇન્ટરડિસિપ્લિનરી વિષય ઉપર જ્યારે વાત થઈ રહી છે ત્યારે બળવંતરાય ઠાકોરના શબ્દો મારે ખાસ અધોરેખિત કરવા છે, એને અંડરલાઈન કરવા છે. એ બધા સૂરનું કહે છે. આપણે એક્સપર્ટીઝ છે, આપણી તજ્ઞતા છે એ કોઈ એક જ વિષયમાં આપણે રાખતા હોઈએ. આજકાલ તો કાનના ડોક્ટર સ્પેશિયલ, આંખના ડોક્ટર સ્પેશિયલ, નાકના ડોક્ટર સ્પેશિયલ, એમ એક એક સ્પેશિયાલિટી આપણે ઓળખીએ છીએ. ખબર નહીં આવતા દિવસોમાં જમણા નસકોરાના ડોક્ટર જુદા, ડાબા નસકોરાના ડોક્ટર જુદા, એવું પણ થાય. જમણા હાથના ડોક્ટર જુદા, ડાબા હાથના ડોક્ટર જુદા, એવું પણ થાય. પણ આ બધામાં જે બહુ શબ્દ છે, મલ્ટિપલ, એ રસપ્રદ છે. અને અત્યારે જે સમય આપણી આસપાસ ઝૂમી રહ્યો છે, એ સમયમાં ખાસ કરીને જે માધ્યમ ઉપર આપણે બધા ભેગા થઈએ છીએ, એ માધ્યમ ઉપર બહુ સંવાદ શક્ય છે. અને એ બહુ સંવાદના ભાગરૂપે સાહિત્યના એક ભાષાના સાહિત્ય તરીકે ગુજરાતી સાહિત્ય ઇનોવેશન અને રિસર્ચનો મામલો કેવી રીતે વિચારી શકે, અને એમાં બીજી વિદ્યા શાખાઓ અને ખાસ કરીને હ્યુમેનિટીઝ, માનવ વિદ્યાઓ એમાં કેવી રીતે જોડાઈ શકે, એના વિશે હું વિચાર કરતો હતો. ત્યારે થોડીક વાતો મને સૂઝેલી. મને એમ થયું કે હું તમને એક ગુજરાતી ગીત સંભળાવું. અને આ માધ્યમ છે, એ માધ્યમ જો આપણને એ તક આપતું હોય તો આપણે શા માટે ન સાંભળવું. એ ગીતમાં આપણે જે શોધની વાત છે, જે રિસર્ચની વાત છે, એનો થોડોક આલંકારિક કહેવાય એવો અને છતાં બહુ સરળ કહેવાય એવો એક અર્થ ચંદ્રકાંત શેઠ નામના એક ગુજરાતી કવિ આપ્યો છે. સ્ક્રીન શેર કરીને હું તમને ગીત સંભળાવું. સવારમાં મારા વિદ્વત્તાપૂર્ણ વ્યાખ્યાનને સાંભળવાને બદલે તમે આ ગીત સાંભળશો તો એ ગીતમાં તમને ઘણા બધા સંદેશા મળી જશે. અને એમાંથી પણ એકાદી વાત નીકળે તો નીકળે એવી છે. પછી આપણે થોડીક મારા મનમાં જે મેં તારવી રાખેલી થોડીક વાતો છે એ હું તમારી સાથે શેર કરીશ. આ ગીતની ટેક્સ્ટ પણ તમારી સ્ક્રીન ઉપર આવશે. એટલે હું માનું છું કે ગુજરાતી વાંચવામાં બધાને તકલીફ નહીં થતી. આપણા જે વિદ્વતજનો બહારથી જોડાયા છે એમને કદાચ હું આમાં સાંકળી શકું કે કેમ, એ મારા મનમાં પ્રશ્ન છે. પણ તોય હું પ્રયત્ન કરીશ કે આ શું છે આખી વાત. તમારા સ્ક્રીન ઉપર હવે ટેક્સ્ટ આવી હશે. હિમાંશુ, મને સહેજ તમે ફીડબેક આપજો.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
ચંદ્રકાંત શેઠની કવિતા છે, શોધતો હતો ફૂલને, ફોરમ શોધતી હતી મને. I am in search of a flower and fragrance is in search of me. I am trying to translate my Gujarati. એકબીજાને શોધતા ગયા દૂર તો આવ્યા કને. We went far away to search each other and we came nearer by going farther. તો આવું છે કે આપણે કોઈ એક શોધ કરવા નીકળ્યા છીએ ત્યારે એક શોધ નામના ફૂલને આપણે શોધવા નીકળ્યા છીએ, અને એ શોધ નામનું ફૂલ પણ આપણને શોધતી હોય છે. તો આ જે એકબીજાની સાથે જે આ એક પ્રક્રિયા થાય છે એ આપણા આ રિસર્ચની પ્રક્રિયા છે એવું મને લાગે છે. હું તમને ગીત સંભળાવું, તમે સાંભળતા જાઓ ને સાથે એમાં કવિ શું કહેવા માંગે છે એનો વિચાર કર્યા વગર તમે કોઈક વિચાર ઉપર પહોંચો એવું હું ઈચ્છીશ.
શોધતો હતો ફૂલને ફોરમ શોધતી હતી મને, એકબીજાને શોધતા ગયા, એકબીજાને શોધતા ગયા, દૂર તો આવ્યા કરે. શોધતો હતો ફૂલને ફોરમ શોધતી હતી મને, એકબીજાને શોધતા ગયા, એકબીજાને શોધતા ગયા, દૂર तो दिवस होई न ये रात, शोत रहो चांदनी रही, चांदनी शोधी मने, एक बीजाने शोता गया, एक बीजाने शोता गया, दूर तो आया करे, शोत हतो भूमि मोर।
થેન્ક યુ. સવારમાં એક કવિતા તમને સંભળાવી. આમ સામાન્ય સંજોગોમાં તમે સૌ કોમર્સના અને વાણિજ્ય વિદ્યાશાખાના વિદ્યાર્થીઓ કે અધ્યાપકો કાવ્ય પદાર્થ અને પોએટિક્સમાં શા માટે જાઓ? પણ જે વાત આપણે કરવી છે તે ઇનોવેશનની છે અને એ વાત આંતરવિદ્યાકીય રીતે પણ આપણે વિચારવી છે, બહુવિદ્યાકીય રીતે પણ વિચારવી છે. એટલે આ એક કવિતા મને કામ લાગી તમારા સુધી પહોંચવા માટે. એટલે આપણે દૂર સુધી જવાનું છે, પણ દૂર સુધી જઈએ છીએ ત્યારે કશુંક આપણને શોધતું ત્યાં ઊભું હોય છે. એ આપણે અને ચાંદની હોય છે, એ આપણે અને કમળ હોય છે, એ આપણે અને રસ્તો હોય છે. એટલે રસ્તો સૂઝતો નથી એ દિશામાં આપણે લોકો એક શોધક તરીકે હોઈએ છીએ કે આપણે કયો રસ્તો લેવો. એટલે એમાંથી એકાદો રસ્તો આપણે ઓળખી કાઢવાનો હોય છે અને એ રસ્તે આપણે જવાનું હોય છે. તો પહેલી વસ્તુ તો આ છે કે આપણે કશું શોધવું છે. We have to search something for the sake of knowledge, for the sake of joy, for the sake of understanding and for the sake of sensibility. એટલે કશુંક મળે એ માટેની આપણી મહેનત હોય છે. એ મળવું છે તે શું છે એ નક્કી થાય છે ધ એન્ડ ઓફ ધ જર્ની. મુસાફરી પૂરી થાય ત્યારે એ નક્કી થતું હોય છે. એટલે પહેલી વાત તો આ છે આપણે ઓળખી કાઢવાનું હોય છે, વિષય ઓળખી કાઢવા. એટલે હવે હું એક નાનકડી એવી અનૌપચારિક પ્રોસેસમાં જો તમને લઈ જાઉં તો મને એમ થાય કે મારે શું કરવાનું હોય. બે રીતે મારે થિયરી અને પ્રેક્ટિસ બંનેમાં જવાનું હોય. હું એના આપણે કહીએ કે એકેડેમિકલ પર્સપેક્ટિવમાં થોડો શાસ્ત્રીય થઈને પણ એની વાત કરી શકું, પણ એ વાત કરનારા ઘણા બધા મિત્રો આપણી સાથે આપણી આજુબાજુમાં છે. એટલે હું આજે એટલો શાસ્ત્રીય રીતે વાત કરવા માટે મારી જાતને અનુકૂળ નથી સમજતો. તો વિષયો ઓળખી કાઢવાના છે એ વાત મારે થોડીક કરવી હતી. અને મારે જે બીજી વિદ્યાશાખાના ખાસ કરીને બીજા વિષયના મિત્રો છે એમની સાથે સાહિત્યના વિષયના કેવી રીતે કોલાબોરેશન થઈ શકે, એ બેની યુતિ કેવી રીતે થઈ શકે એ દિશામાં થોડીક વાત કરવી છે. જે સાહિત્યના મિત્રો છે એ મિત્રો વિદ્યાશાખાના બીજા ક્ષેત્રોમાં કેવી રીતે જઈ શકે એ કઈ શોધથી જઈ શકે એની થોડીક વાત મારે અત્યારે જે રીતનું આપણું એક શ્રોતા મંડળ છે એને ધ્યાનમાં રાખીને મારે કરવી જોઈએ. કેવળ ગુજરાતીના વિદ્યાર્થીઓ હોત તો હું થોડી જુદી વાત કરત, પણ મને એવું સૂચે છે કે પહેલું કામ છે તે એક તો આપણે નક્કી કર્યું છે કે આપણે જવું છે, આપણે ટ્રાવેલ કરવું છે, આપણે મુસાફરી કરવી છે, આપણે નીકળવું છે, એ નક્કી છે. એ નક્કી હોય ત્યારે આપણે એક બીજી વસ્તુ પણ નક્કી કરવાની હોય કે ઓળખી કાઢવાનું હોય આપણે કયા વિષય પર શોધ કરશું. એટલે એ આપણે ઓળખી કાઢવાનું હોય. મને અત્યારે જે વિષયો તમારી સાથે શેર કરવાનું મન થાય છે, દાખલા તરીકે ઓળખી કાઢવા માટે, તો મને એમ થાય કે સાહિત્ય છે એ ઉદ્યોગ સાહસિકતા સાથે કેમ અનુબંધ ન કેળવે. આંત્રપ્રિન્યોરશિપ એન્ડ લિટરેચર એમ કરીને હું જો વિચાર કરું તો મને મારી ભાષામાં એવી અનેક સાહિત્ય કૃતિઓ મળે જે સાહિત્ય કૃતિઓમાં પુરુષોએ અને સ્ત્રીઓએ ઉદ્યોગ સાહસિકતા કેળવી હોય અને એની કથાઓ કીધી હોય. એટલે નરેટિવ્સમાં આપણે જઈએ, તમે લોકો તો ડેટામાં અને સ્ટેટિસ્ટિકલ એનાલિસિસમાં ને એમાં જાઓ છો, પણ હું એમ કહું છું કે એ ડેટા અને સ્ટેટિસ્ટિકલ એનાલિસિસ છે એને પણ જો નરેટિવમાં જઈને આપણે જોઈએ તો આપણને રસ પડે એવી ઘણી વાતો મળે. એટલે આપણી કારકિર્દી અને આપણો રોજગાર અને આપણો વ્યવસાય અને આપણો જીવન નિર્વાહ છે એ નિર્વાહને વિશે ત્યાં આગળ આપણે એક ક્લાસિકલ બેઝથી એનાલિસિસ કરતા હોઈએ. મને એમ થાય કે તમે સાહિત્ય પાસે પણ એવી રીતે આવો. દાખલા તરીકે ખભે કોથળો અને દેશ મોકળો કે મેઘધનુષી માનુની નામે આપણી પાસે સરસ બે નેરેટિવ્સ છે, જેમાં કોઈક સામાન્ય સંજોગોમાંથી, કોઈકના એક નાનકડા વિચારમાંથી, કોઈક એકાદી વેબસાઇટ કે કોઈ એકાદો ઉદ્યોગ કે કોઈ એકાદો વ્યવસાય છે એ કેવી રીતે ઊભો થયો અને કેવી રીતે સ્થિર થયો અને કેવી રીતે એની પાસે એક નરેટિવ હતું, કેવી રીતે એની પાસે કથા હતી, એની વાતો આપણી પાસે છે. તો એનો આપણે અભ્યાસ કરી શકીએ. ઇટ કેન હેલ્પ ઇન મલ્ટિપલ વે. એ ઘણી બધી રીતે મદદ કરી શકે. એટલે એક મને આવું સૂચતું હતું. વિઠ્ઠલ કામત નામના એક મરાઠી ઉદ્યોગ સાહસિકની કથા ઇડલી, ઓર્કિડ અને હું એવા નામથી પ્રગટ થઈ છે. ઓર્કિડ નામની એક આખી ચેઇન કેવી રીતે એમણે કેવી જદ્દોજહદથી એમણે ઊભી કરી અને કેવી રીતે આંતરરાષ્ટ્રીય સ્તરે એમની એ ચેઇન બ્રાન્ડ છે એ કેવી રીતે સ્વીકારાઈ એની વાત એમણે કરી છે. તો તમે તમારી પાસે વાણિજ્યના અભિગમથી, કોમર્સના અભિગમથી આખી વાતને જોવાનું એક પર્સપેક્ટિવ છે. હું તમને એમ કહું છું કે તમને એવું સૂચવું છું કે તમે સાહિત્યના પર્સપેક્ટિવ સાથે એને ભેગું કરો તો તમને રસ પડે એવી ઘણી વાતો એમાંથી મળી શકે. એટલે આ એક રસપ્રદ શક્યતા. સેમ વે સાહિત્યમાં આંકડાશાસ્ત્ર છે, સાહિત્યમાં અર્થશાસ્ત્ર છે, સાહિત્યનું પોતાનું વ્યવસ્થાપન, સાહિત્ય પાસે નરેટિવ્સ પાસે વ્યવસ્થાપન છે. તમે સરસ્વતીચંદ્ર જેવી કોઈ કૃતિ પાસે જાઓ કે તમે ઝેર તો પીધા જાણી જાણી જેવી કોઈ કૃતિ પાસે જાઓ તો ત્યાં આગળ તમને મેનેજમેન્ટના સિદ્ધાંતો પણ જોવા મળે. એટલે તમે ગીતામાં મેનેજમેન્ટને પારખી શકો છો. તમે ગુજરાતી સાહિત્યના એવા અનેક નેરેટિવ્સ છે જેમાં તમે મેનેજમેન્ટને પારખી શકો. તો હું એક નાનકડી શક્યતા તરફ તમારું ધ્યાન દોરું છું. પછી એના એ કેટલું નિર્વાહ્ય છે એ પછી નક્કી થાય. સાહિત્યમાં ઇતિહાસ છે તો માનવ વિદ્યાની એક શાખા તરીકે ઇતિહાસ, સ્થાનિક ઇતિહાસની તપાસ કરે છે, ભારતીય ઇતિહાસની તપાસ કરે છે, આંતરરાષ્ટ્રીય ઇતિહાસની તપાસ કરે છે. તો એ ઇતિહાસને જોવાની એક નજર છે એ સાહિત્યમાં છે. તો તમે સાહિત્ય પાસે આવીને ઇતિહાસ અને સાહિત્યની પરસ્પર પ્રેરક અને પૂરક એવી હાજરી છે એની તપાસ કરી શકો. સાહિત્ય અને રાજકારણનો સંબંધ છે. પોલિટિકલ સાયન્સ અને લઈને, પોલિટિક્સને લઈને તમે સાહિત્ય પાસે આવી શકો. અમે સાહિત્યના વિદ્યાર્થીઓ સાહિત્ય પાસે જઈને પોલિટિકલ સાયન્સ પાસે જઈ શકીએ. તો એ દિશાએથી પણ તમે આવું એક ઇન્ટરડિસિપ્લિનરી, મલ્ટીડિસિપ્લિનરી કામ છે એ કરી શકો. દાખલા તરીકે સમાજશાસ્ત્ર છે, સમાજશાસ્ત્રનો સાહિત્યનો તો બહુ નિકટનો સંબંધ છે. અને તમે ગુજરાતી સાહિત્ય કૃતિઓમાં કે અંગ્રેજી સાહિત્ય કૃતિઓમાં જે સોશિયલ સિસ્ટમ્સ અને સોશિયલ પેટર્ન્સ છે, સમાજનું તંત્ર અને સમાજના માળખાઓ છે એનો જે અભ્યાસ છે એ તમે સમાજશાસ્ત્રીય અભિગમથી કરો છો, એને તમે સાહિત્યમાં લઈ આવો તો સાહિત્યને પણ મદદ થશે. એટલે જ્ઞાતિઓના જે આપણા એની જે હાયરાર્કી છે એના વિશે આપણું ગુજરાતી સાહિત્ય કેવા કેવા ચિત્રો આપે છે. તમે વાંચો તો માનવીની ભવાઈ તમને કે વ્યથાના વિતક જેવી કોઈ ચોપડી છે તમને આ વાત કરી શકે. તો એક મારું આ નિમંત્રણ પણ છે કે તમે આવી રીતે એક હદ સરહદની બીજી બાજુની એક વિદ્યાની જે જગ્યા છે એને પણ તમે આવી રીતે એક્સપ્લોર કરી શકો. એવી રીતે મનોવિજ્ઞાનને પણ હું બિલકુલ જોઈ શકું છું સાહિત્યની વિદ્યાની સાથે સાંકળીને. અને મનોવૈજ્ઞાનિક નિરૂપણો, વ્યક્તિત્વો, પર્સનાલિટીના બધા પ્રશ્નો છે, ગ્રંથિઓ છે, બધી કોમ્પ્લેક્સિસ છે, બધા લઘુતા ગ્રંથિઓ છે, ગુરુતા ગ્રંથિઓ છે, બધા ભાવો છે, બધા સંવેદનો છે, આ બધાને મનોવિજ્ઞાન જે રીતે જુએ છે એ મનોવિજ્ઞાનની નજર એની સાથે જો સાહિત્યની આવા મોડેલ જો તમે પકડો, ચેખોવની કોઈ વોર્ડ નંબર 6 વાર્તા લઈને તમે એને સાયકોલોજીકલ પર્સપેક્ટિવથી તમે જોઈ શકો. મારી ચંપાનો વર જેવી કેટલી બધી ટૂંકી વાર્તાઓ છે જે ટૂંકી વાર્તાઓમાં સ્ત્રીઓનું મનોવિજ્ઞાન છે એ તમને અભ્યાસ કરવા માટે આમંત્રણ આપી છે. લોક સાહિત્યનો આખો એક જે એની વિધા છે એ વિધાને પણ તમે તમારા આવા મલ્ટીડિસિપ્લિનરી અને ઇન્ટરડિસિપ્લિનરી અભિગમથી તપાસી શકો. લોક સાહિત્યમાં ગ્રામીણ અર્થશાસ્ત્ર છે. પાવલી લઈને હું તો પાવાગઢ ગઈ હતી, પાવાગઢ વાળી મને દર્શન દે, નહીતર મારી પાવલી પાછી દે. તમને એમ થાય કે આ શું છે, આ તમે આ તો તમારી કઈ શરત છે કે તમે દર્શન નહીં આપો તો લાવો મારી પાવલી પાછી. તો તમે આ જે ગ્રામીણ અર્થશાસ્ત્ર છે એ ગ્રામીણ અર્થશાસ્ત્રની સાથે તમે સાહિત્યને જોડો તો તમને રસ પડે એવા ઘણા મળી શકે. ઇવન મારા મનમાં આવતું હતું ગાળો, ડેડ વર્ડ્સ જેને આપણે કહીએ છીએ, નિષિદ્ધ ભાષા જેને આપણે કહીએ છીએ, એ નિષિદ્ધ ભાષાને લઈને પણ તમે ગાળોનું સમાજશાસ્ત્ર કે ગાળોનું મનોવિજ્ઞાન છે. એટલે આપણી જુદી જુદી ભાષાઓમાં આપણે જે ગાળો બોલીએ છીએ એ ગાળોમાં સામાજિક સ્તરોના કયા કયા ચિત્રો છે કે મનોવિજ્ઞાનના કયા કયા ચિત્રો છે એની આપણને ખબર પડે. એમાં આપણા ટેમ્પરામેન્ટની સાથે, આપણા જે તે વખતના આપણા અનુભવને કારણે આપણા મિજાજની સાથે ક્યારે આપણે આ મોઢામાંથી ગાળ નીકળી જાય છે અને એ શું કરવા નીકળી જાય છે. અને એમાં ભાઈ છે, બેન છે, માં છે, બાપ છે, આ લોકો બધા કેવી રીતે કનેક્ટ થાય છે અને એમાંથી તમને આપણા સમાજ તરીકેના આપણા જે નજરિયા છે એની જે પ્રાયોરિટી છે એની તમને ખબર પડે. એમાંથી જેન્ડરના પણ આપણા જે બાયસ છે બધા, અને ભારત તરીકે આપણે જેન્ડરને જે રીતે જોઈએ છે એને જોવાની પણ તમને એક નજર મળે. તો આવા બધા જુદા જુદા ક્ષેત્રોમાં ઇનોવેટિવ અભિગમથી તમે જુદા જુદા વિષયોને ઓળખી કાઢી શકો અને એ વિષયોની શક્યતાઓને તમે આંતરવિદ્યાકીય અભ્યાસમાં કેવી રીતે જોઈ શકો એ વિશે મારે સહેજ દિશા તો શું પણ એક સંકેત મારે, દિશા તો હું કોણ ચિંતનાર, પણ એક સંકેત મારે કરવો હતો કે વી કેન આઈડેન્ટિફાય ધ એરિયાઝ ઓફ રિસર્ચ ઇન્ટરડિસિપ્લિનરી રીતે આપણે ઓળખી કાઢી શકીએ કે આ શોધના રસ્તાઓ છે. હવે બીજી વાત છે કે હું આવા વિષયો ઓળખી કાઢું તો પછી મારે એ ઓળખી કાઢેલા વિષય છે એની ગુંજાઈશ છે એને તપાસવાની હોય. પોટેન્શિયલ ઓફ આઈડેન્ટિફાઈડ એરિયા એને મારે તપાસવાનો હોય કે હું આ જે વિચારું છું એની હાઇપોથેસિસ બનાવું છું તો એ હાઇપોથેસિસ મને ક્યાં સુધી લઈ જશે, એનું જે શોધ તર્ક છે એ જો હોય તો એ મને ક્યાં સુધી લઈ જશે એનો હું વિચાર કરું. એટલે જુદે જુદે રસ્તે હું એમાં આગળ વધું, એનો હું એક નકશો બનાવું, એનું એક મેપિંગ થાય. આ બધું તો તમને મેથોડોલોજીની રીતે અહીંયાથી બહુ બધી વાર કહેવામાં આવે છે. એનું એક મેપિંગ થાય, એનો એક નકશો બને અને તમારી જર્ની શરૂ થાય. નકશા પ્રમાણે તમે પહોંચવા નીકળ્યા હો અને રસ્તામાં તમને અનેક બીજી નાની નાની કીડીઓ, બીજા નાના નાના વળાંકો, બીજી નાના નાના હર્ડલ્સ, આ બધું આવતું જાય અને તમારો નકશો છે એ રીશેપ થતો જાય. એટ ધ એન્ડ ઓફ ધ ગેમ તમે શોધતો હતો ફૂલ ને ફોરમ શોધતી હતી મને, એકબીજાને શોધતા ગયા દૂર તો આવ્યા કને, એવા એક કન્ક્લુઝન ઉપર આવ્યા. જે શોધવામાં જિંદગી આખી પસાર થાય ને એ જ હોય પગની તળે એમ પણ બને, એવા કન્ક્લુઝન ઉપર તમે આવ્યા એ પહેલા તમારે આખી જિંદગી કંઈક સર્ચ કરવા માટે નીકળવાનું. પહોંચ્યા ત્યારે ખબર પડી કે આ મળ્યું, આ ના મળ્યું. તો તમે જે હાઇપોથિસિસ કરી હતી, તમે જે શોધ તર્ક કર્યો હતો, એ શોધ તર્કનું પરિણામ તમને કેવું આવ્યું, એ પરિણામનો તમે તાળો મેળવો, પરિણામો તમે તારવો છો, પરિણામોનો તમે તાળો મેળવો છો, અને પ્રક્રિયા અને પરિણામનો એ તાળો મેળવીને તમે કોઈક નિષ્કર્ષ ઉપર પહોંચો છો. તમે કહો છો કે યસ, હિયર ઇઝ ધ ફ્રેગ્રન્સ, આ છે સુવાસ, જો એ હોય સુવાસ તો આ એક આઉટલાઈન છે. એને આપણે કેટલી સ્વકીય પ્રતિભાથી, કેટલી પોતાની પ્રતિભાથી અને કેટલી પોતાની કલ્પનાશીલતાથી અને કેટલી પોતાની વાસ્તવિક રીતે એને પ્રાપ્ત કરવાની આપણી ઇનોવેટિવ સ્કિલથી આપણે હાંસલ કરી શકીએ, એ હવે બીજો મુદ્દો છે. અને એમાં ટેકનિકલી આપણે આપણી આ જર્નીને અમલમાં મૂકીએ ત્યારે, પ્રેક્ટિસમાં જઈએ ત્યારે કેવા કેવા ઇનોવેશન કરી શકીએ એની તો અનેક શક્યતાઓ છે. એટલે ડેટા અને સોર્સિસ છે એને મૂકવાની રીતમાં, એ રિસોર્સિસને ઓળખી કાઢવા, પ્રાથમિક માહિતી અને દ્વૈતિક માહિતી, એને પ્રાઇમરી શું કહો છો તમે એને, કંઈક તમારી ભાષામાં એની માટે સરસ શબ્દો છે, પણ પ્રાથમિક અને મુખ્ય એ બેયને લઈને તમે પછી એને પણ, એટલે સંસાધનોના ઉપયોગમાં પણ તમે ઇનોવેશન કરી શકો. ટેકનોલોજીના સમયમાં તો આપણી પાસે અનેક પ્રકારની એવી માર્ગદર્શિકાઓ છે કે આપણે ટેકનિકલી, હવે એમાં આ માધ્યમો છે એ આપણને કેવી રીતે મદદ કરે છે. દાખલા તરીકે આજે મારે તમને ગીત પહોંચાડવું હતું તો એ ગીત હું પહોંચાડી શક્યો. ઇટ વોઝ લાઈક an innovation. In a way it was an innovation કે we could, આપણે સાંભળી શક્યા એક ગીત અને આપણે એક ટેક્સ્ટ પણ જોઈ શક્યા. તો અપ્લાય કરવાનું આવે છે, એપ્લિકેશન કરવાનું આવે છે, ત્યારે એ એપ્લિકેશન કરવા માટે આપણી પાસે હવે નવા સમયમાં અનેક પ્રયુક્તિઓ છે. એ પ્રયુક્તિઓ વિશે વાત બહુ બધી રીતે થઈ છે, એટલે એમાં હું જાજો જવાનું પસંદ નથી કરતો. પણ સૂતર આવે તેમ તું રહે, જેમ તેમ કરીને હરીને ભજે, એમ કરીને આપણને અખાએ કીધું છે કે આપણે અકળકળા ખેલત નર જ્ઞાની, ધ્રુવ તારક પર રહત નિશાની. એટલે આપણે મલ્ટિપલ ડિવાઇસીસથી અત્યારે આપણને ઉપલબ્ધ એવી અનેક તકનીકી સુવિધાઓથી લબાલબ છીએ, ત્યારે આપણે એ નથી ભૂલી જવાનું કે એ બધી તકનીકી સુવિધાઓ તો કોઈ એક ફૂલ સુધી પહોંચવા માટેની એક માત્ર દિશા છે. ધ્રુવ તારક શું છે? ધ્રુવ તારક આપણે નક્કી કરેલું એક શોધ ટાર્ગેટ છે, એ આપણું રિસર્ચ ટાર્ગેટ છે. એને પહોંચવા માટે આપણે જેટલા ઇનોવેટિવ થઈએ એટલા થવું જોઈએ, પણ હાથમાં જ્યારે આવે ત્યારે આપણને ખબર પડવી જોઈએ કે આપણા હાથમાં શું આવ્યું. તો સાહિત્ય અને આંતરવિદ્યાઓના સંદર્ભમાં મારે જે થોડીક પ્રાથમિક કહેવાય એવી જે વાતો કરવાની હતી તે મને એમ લાગે છે કે આટલી હતી અત્યારે. આ સિવાયની ઘણી વાતો થઈ શકે, પણ એક ઉદ્દીપક તરીકે, એક પ્રારંભિક ગતિ માટે આ પરિસંવાદના ગુજરાતી વિષય સાથે અભ્યાસ રજૂ કરનારા મિત્રો માટે મેં એક આ ભૂમિકા રચવાનો પ્રયત્ન કર્યો. આ કોઈ કી નોટ એડ્રેસ આને હું કહું, કદાચ હું ન કહું, હું આને એક પ્રારંભિક ઉદ્બોધન કહું. કેમ કે લાવો રે કૂંચીને તાળા ખોલીએ, કૂંચી મારા મેરમ ગુરુજીને હાથ, ગુરુજી આવે તો તાળા ખુલશે, એમ કરીને આપણા મધ્યકાલીન ભક્ત કવિઓએ આપણા જે માસ્ટર છે એ માસ્ટર પાસે ચાવી આપી દીધી છે. અને આપણામાંથી કોણ માસ્ટર છે એ આપણે હજી સુધી નક્કી નથી કરી શકતા. પણ કવિ રાજેન્દ્ર શુક્લના શબ્દો સાથે હું પૂરું કરું કે એટલે આ એક આખું જે જાણકારી વિનાનું એક આકાશ છે. જે કવિતા હું કહું છું એ આ રીતે કહે છે કે ઘનઘોર ઘેરાયું સઘન આકાશ આખર ઉઘડે. The sky is invisible. Sky is studded with black clouds. And there is no way to find. ઘનઘોર ઘેરાયું સઘન આકાશ આખર ઉઘડે, કૂંચી ફરે તાળા ખુલે ને શબ્દનું ઘર ઉઘડે. આપણે શબ્દનું ઘર ખોલવું હોય અને કઈ હળ ન હુજતી હોય તો એકાદી ચાવી લગાડીએ અને તાળું ખુલે અને પછી એમાંથી શબ્દનું ઘર ઉઘડે. અને એવું શબ્દનું ઘર ઉઘડે તો સામે શું દેખાય? સામે દેખાય ઉભો સમય ધીર, આંખમાં થંભી ગઈ સૌ પરકમાં. ઉભો સમય ધીર, આંખમાં થંભી ગઈ સૌ પરકમાં. હું ઉઘડું ઉંબર ઉપર, સામે ચરાચર ઉઘડે. હું મારા ઉંબરે છું અને હું મારા ઉંબરે ઉઘડું છું અને મારી સામે શું ઉઘડે છે? જો શબ્દનું ઘર ઉઘડ્યું હોય તો સામે શું ઉઘડે છે? સામે ચરાચર ઉઘડે છે. તો એવા ચરાચર વિશ્વના પ્રવાસમાં જો તમારે જવું હોય તો એકાદા શબ્દના ઘરની તાળું છે એની ચાવી તમે ખોલો તો તમે યુ કેન ફ્લાય ટુ ધ ઇન્ફિનિટ સ્કાય ઓફ નોલેજ. એટલે મને એમ લાગે છે કે આપણે આપણા ઉંબરે ઉભા ઉભા આખાએ ચરાચર વિશ્વના પ્રદેશોમાં વિહરવું હશે તો આવા ઇનોવેટિવ વેથી, આવા અકળ કળાથી આવી ઇનોવેટિવ વે માટેનું ગુજરાતી અખા ભગતે મને આપ્યું છે અકળ કળા. તો આવી અકળ કળા સૌને પ્રાપ્ત થાવ અને એના નિમિત્ત ગોપીનાથજી મહિલા કોલેજ બનો એવી શુભેચ્છા સાથે મને એમ લાગે છે કે મારે જે પ્રારંભિક વાત કરવી હતી તે અહીંયા હું એને ઔપચારિક રીતે સમાપ્ત કરું છું. ધન્યવાદ.
થેન્ક યુ સો મચ ડોક્ટર મહેન્દ્રસિંહ પરમાર. બહુ ઓછા શબ્દોમાં રિસર્ચ અને ઇનોવેશનને લગતી ઘણી બધી ડાયમેન્શન્સ ડોક્ટર મહેન્દ્રસિંહ પરમારે ખોલી આપી છે. એન્ડ ધ વે હી સ્ટાર્ટેડ ફ્રોમ પોએમ્સ લાઈક પૂલને શોધતો ગયો અને ફોરમ આવી. ઇટ મીન્સ વેન યુ સ્ટાર્ટ સર્ચિંગ ફોર અનનોન, the unknown also starts traveling towards you. And research is a two-way process. And he has connected literature with various disciplines like sociology, like psychology, economics, commerce, and medical. So, Dr. Mahendra Singh Parmar, we are so much thankful for your valuable knowledge and for your focus towards all the aspects of research. And he introduced innovation in all the steps of research process. Moving further towards the next dignitary that we have, if we look at this, the time when I look at the dignitaries, one is from Lucknow, one is from Delhi, one is from Udaipur. So I feel so much integrated with the different components of India. So one of the next very important person, that is the name of the person is Dr. Akhilesh Mishra. And before moving on, I would like to introduce him. He is an associate professor in the Department of Commerce, Sri Aurobindo College, Delhi University. He has a vast experience of more than 22 years in the field of academics as well as in the field of research. If we talk about his extra works and all, he has published a very wonderful book. The name of the book is Stress Management Through Divine Healing, Sri Bhagavad Gita. Apart from this, he has published more than 5 research papers in national and international conferences. And his best research paper was awarded on second rank, that is on National Conference SDG4, and the research paper was on New Education Policy. So here, once again, we have an expert from Delhi University, Dr. Akhilesh Mishra sir. And I would like to hand over this mic to Mishra sir, and I will request him to share his experience and knowledge in the field of, in relation to this conference title. And Dr. Akhilesh Mishra sir.
Thank you, dear. The Principal Gopinathji Mahila Arts and Commerce College, Sihor, Bhavnagar, Gujarat. Respected Dr. Dilip Joshi, Dr. Nagaria, and esteemed dignitaries of the conference. It's a great privilege and honor to be a part of the National Conference and innovation of recent trends in commerce and humanities. A very related conference being organized by your esteemed institutions. I want to share some my PPT which is related with my research papers. These all research are based on the Bhagavad Gita. Can I share my PPT?
Yes, sir. You can share your screen, but still it is not visible on the screen.
Yeah, just wait.
Okay.
My
Okay, sir.
PPT is
Now your
visible?
screen is visible on. Yes. You can move on, sir. It's visible.
This is a karma yoga, duties first. Every time we see about the human rights of the students, rights of the female, rights of the citizens, rights of each and everybody. But Gita told us that our relationship between us is our duties, karma yoga. An individual can attain the highest success and reach the peak of achievement with his inner knowledge. Any problem?
No, sir. I
Sir?
would like to tell you that if you can please turn on your front camera, then the PPT would be much more better visible in manner.
Okay. Okay. Now it's okay?
It's done.
Now
sir.
it's
Done.
okay?
Thank you, sir. It's okay, and continue with the same. Thank you, sir.
Even to achieve a form out of the shapeless image is a good action. The actions of the human being is according to the country, epoch or time, and the society. So it is little complicated to understand this. This is called law of inheritance. This is our primary responsibility to protect our assets as a nature. This is called laws of inheritance. जो हमने लिया है वैसा ही हमें वापस देने की जरूरत है. Elements of environment as the loan of the mankind by the Supreme Soul, Supreme Lord, Supreme God. Element of air quality, law of cleanliness of the environment, elements of water. So many laws develop in the countries to maintain the quality of water, water resources and the fisheries. Elements of earth, law on the waste management, law on mining, forestry law, and so many laws. International laws, land law and sea laws, rights of nature, these all are inheritance which we receive from our forefathers. अपने पूर्वजों से हमने बहुत कुछ लिया है. But this is our responsibility to give same quality to next generation. And another is a discipline, disciplined life is the highest yoga of the soul, highest yoga of the heart. Soul power, supreme power reflect in our body through heart. And heart is a representative of God, representative of superpower. That's why I am saying our duties are, disciplined duties are more important in our life. There is a fundamental duties which is mentioned in the Constitution. Abide by the constitutions. Follow the ideals of the freedom struggle. Why follow the ideals? Selfless service for the society, for the nation. Protect sovereignty and the integrity of India. Protect sovereignty and integrity of India. This is our primary responsibility and duties as a citizen. Defend the country and render the national service when called upon. A spirit of unity, common brotherhood and fraternity. This spirit of unity, common brotherhood and fraternity is a community service which is provided by us. And this is a very important point in the happiness index which is measured by the international governments. Happiness means not only happiness individual, happiness means happy family, happy society, happy community. This is a very big source and base of our positive behavior. Preserve composition culture. Why cultural differences? Because cultural differences is related with the geographical qualities, natural qualities. You know, one thing is very important. Different psychologists express our body in a different way. But you know, thought process in the mind, but quality of thought process is related with your blood. There is a Vedic science. Now, as per quality of blood, your physical fitness depend. Quality of blood, in the common language, we call this is a man, gyan. An expression of quality of blood, quality of knowledge through speech. This is called vadi, man or vadi ka ek hona. This man or vadi ka ek hona, this is the biggest yoga in our system. This is the base of the human behavior. That's why society, forefathers developed different types of language on the basis of geographical qualities and social requirements. भौगोलिक वातावरण की जो नेचुरल क्वालिटीज होती है, ये भाषा उन्हीं क्वालिटीज को नर्चर और प्योर करती है. We need to do research work on our language and human behavior. बोलियां and human behavior. Another duty is preserve the natural environment. Develop the scientific temper. We try to develop relationship between the knowledge and language and mental fitness. Safeguard the public property and strive the excellence. This is another fundamental duties, 10 fundamental duties. Now I come to human structure, which I want to explain you for the research point of view. As per Vedic science, our body divided in two parts, right portion and left portion. This body is called, human body is called the Akshatam tree, long life, which roots are above and branches are below. How these roots are above? Our whole body is controlled by our mind, you can say easily. And lower part of the human body is called branches, which support our mind, controlled by our mind. The mental quality of the mass, of the society, of the family, and of the individual is related with the quality of water and quality of earth. This is called mental qualities. जैसे आपके वातावरण होंगे, नेचुरल क्वालिटीज होंगी, वाटर रिसोर्सेज होंगे, वैसे ही आपकी मेंटल क्वालिटीज होंगी. And society develop language. Society develop language to nurture natural quality which is exist in your mind as a mental quality, natural qualities. Your physical power is a universal power. Universal power is light, which is reflect in our body through heart. Our heart power is a power of supreme power, universal power, which purify our mental qualities and physical power. You see in this chart, this action exists in your mind. Our body work in a very systematic process. First process is thought process, which is depend on the quality of blood, quality of nature, quality of environment, composition of 5 great elements. And this thought process reflect by our speech. जैसा मन होता है वैसी ही वाणी होती है, जैसा मानसिक गुण होते हैं वैसी ही भाषा होती है. And when this thought process and speech complete, when human being complete his action, performance, if human being individual is not performing work as per the thought process, speech and action, it will be create a stress, tension, depression in the mind, because this is a character of the organs. ये organs का अपना quality है कि by nature they complete their work, and if physical power is not support your performance, automatically in your mind a stress, tension increases. That's why our forefathers developed different types of model to improve mental quality as well as physical quality, mental power as well as physical power. Mental power, why forefathers developed different types of languages? Because your language, आपकी गुजराती भाषा उस वातावरण की क्वालिटी को कंप्लीट करती है. This is called natural qualities. Our language is a base of human behavior. If we want to improve our behavior, performance, we closely associate with our language. जिस आदमी की भाषा पे जितनी अच्छी पकड़ होगी, उसकी लाइफ में उसकी परफॉर्मेंस भी उतनी ही अच्छी हो. This language and action complete mental qualities and physical qualities. That's why if you are not doing work on the basis of your thought process, your speech, you feel a stress in your mind, tension in your mind. This is the biggest science of the Vedic system. Why languages are different? Due to geographical क्वालिटीज एंड सोशल रिक्वायरमेंट। भौगोलिक वातावरण में फर्क है और समाज की जरूरतें अलग अलग है। टू थिंग्स आर इंपॉर्टेंट। ज्योग्राफिकल क्वालिटीज, जैसे ही ज्योग्राफिकल क्वालिटीज चेंज होती है, इन्वायरमेंट चेंज होता है, लैंग्वेज बदल दिया जाता है। बिकॉज लैंग्वेज ओनली नर्चर योर नेचुरल क्वालिटीज। इट नीड्स टू डू रिसर्च बिकॉज लैंग्वेज इज ए बेस ऑफ द ह्यूमन बिहेवियर। जो हम बार बार एजुकेशन सिस्टम में रिफॉर्म की बात कर रहे हैं, न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी ऑल्सो टॉक अबाउट द रिफॉर्म, interdisciplinary approach. This is the biggest approach. Your behavior is depend on your language and action. जैसा सोचे वैसा बोलें, कितना बोलें, जितना हम परफॉर्म कर सके। This is a physical power. And if our performance, our action is create deviation between them, then it will be create a stress, tension, and other things. For the students, writing skill is a complete action. This writing skill complete your learning system. Because this writing skill is a alignment of mind and heart, and knowledge and language is a exercise of lungs and sound system. That's why nowadays there is a very big research in the COVID system. Online teaching is not effective. Offline teaching is effective. Why online teaching is not effective? Because teacher does not know what their students are doing. But when you in offline system, you hear, you understand, and write this all understanding and learning on your copy through your language, your power of language. This writing is complete your knowledge. Writing of a skill is a alignment, exercise of heart and mind. And language is an exercise of knowledge or lungs and sound system. This is the Vedic science. ऑफलाइन टीचिंग उतना ही इफेक्टिव होता है क्योंकि बच्चे सुनते हैं, समझते हैं और लिखते हैं। यदि लिखना ही बंद हो गया तो आपका एक्शन बंद है। डिफरेंट रिसर्च एग्जिस्ट इन द research world nowadays. In COVID, mental problem increase. Why mental problem increase? Because our knowledge and speech is common, exist, but our performance of work affected. When our performance affected, definitely it will be create a stress, tension, depression in the mind. In our mind, as per the knowledge and speech, mind activate whole body. If our action is stopped, then how can we feel comfortable? Because this is the character of the organs. जब thought process start होगा तो वो speech में convert होगा और वो action में convert होगा. थॉट प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हुआ, स्पीच भी हुआ, लेकिन एक्शन बंद है. वी ऑल फील ए स्ट्रेस बिकॉज माइंड हैज ओनली परफॉर्मेंस, एक्शन, नथिंग एल्स. एक्शन परफॉर्मेंस ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ पावर ऑफ हार्ट। ये जो दुनिया में कहा जा रहा है कि दिल की बीमारियां 2030 तक 50 करोड़ इंडियंस को हो जाएंगी, शुगर की प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी, ब्लड प्रेशर की प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी, these all problems create different types of social structure, social problem. If heart weaks, your action, your performance of work weak, because your mental power is positively related with the power of heart. This is a Vedic system. The proper action is for students writing on the copy. There is a complete action. And develop a stress-free life, tension-free work. आप कुछ भी पढ़िए, याद करिए, उसको लिखिए. Your writing skill complete your thought process. That's why you feel relaxed. If you are doing something different work, your performance complete your thought process, and after that you feel comfortable. These are mental qualities. परफॉर्मेंस जितना होगा, एक्शन जितना होगा, आप मेंटली उतने पीस फील करेंगे, स्ट्रेस फ्री फील करेंगे. एंड दिस ऑल थिंग्स आर रिलेटेड विद द फिजिकल एंड मेंटल क्वालिटीज. दैट्स व्हाई आवर फोरफादर्स डेवलप languages, culture, lifestyle, food habits, not only improve mental quality but also physical powers are equally important. ये कभी नहीं हो सकता कि फिजिकली आप वीक हो और मेंटली बहुत स्ट्रांग. ये कभी नहीं हो सकता कि फिजिकली आप बहुत स्ट्रांग हो जाएं और मेंटली आप वीक हो जाएं. Both things in a parallel manner. There is a balancing factor of the human body. Your knowledge, speech, and actions should be parallel. This is called manual of life. Manual of human being. उतना ही सोचो जितना बोल सको, बोलो कितना जितना कर सको. We need to do work on our Vedic system. Our language is based to improve our human behavior. That's why I am saying language is a base of the human behavior. आपकी भाषा ही आपकी व्यवहार है. जितनी अच्छी भाषा पे पकड़ोगी उतना ही अच्छा आपका व्यवहार होगा. Nowadays, हम अपनी भाषा छोड़ चुके हैं, भाषाओं के रिस्पेक्ट बंद कर चुके हैं और लिखना तो बंद ही कर चुके हैं. स्टूडेंट लाइफ में लिखना बंद होता जा रहा है. वी यूज कंप्यूटर्स एंड डिफरेंट थिंग्स. And then we search mental fitness formula. Why we develop education system? This education system complete your mental and physical qualities. If we are not in position to understand power of language, then we can't perform as per the knowledge. There is no rest in this hell, as the soul and the chakras of the nature activities this body. The human being keeps doing his action according to these chakras and his knowledge. इस जीवन में आप ये कभी सोच ही नहीं सकते कि आप काम नहीं करेंगे, क्योंकि जो नेचुरल साइकिल है वो आपकी बॉडी को एक्टिव कर देती है. आप सांस लेते हैं, नाक एक्टिव है, आवाज कानों को आती है, आंखों से आप देखते हैं. आपकी बॉडी परफॉर्म नहीं कर रही है, लेकिन बॉडी माइंड एक्टिव है. आपका सेंसेस आपके एक्टिव है, आपकी बॉडी को एक्टिव किए हुए. सो यू नेवर थिंक about the non-performance. You perform your work, maybe positive, maybe negative, depending on your physical and mental qualities. ये जीवन में ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता कि हम कुछ काम ना करें। काम तो करना है, वो अच्छा करें या बुरा करें। दिस बॉडी नीड्स performance, action, and continue action. Nowadays, we teach action as a good things, but this duties, this action is a complete yoga in your life. काम क्या करेंगे? जितने आपका ज्ञान होगा और जैसी आपकी भाषा होगी. If your knowledge and speech in negative direction, your performance also in a negative. If your knowledge and speech in a positive, balanced approach, then your performance action also improve and your performance in your life will be balanced. Balanced approach. These are balancing factors. That's why I am saying duties is a complete yoga in your life. जिस दिन आप अपनी जिम्मेदारियों को पूरा करने लगेंगे, काम पूरा करने लगेंगे, you feel comfortable in your life. This is a complete yoga. कोई आपको किसी आश्रम में जाने की जरूरत नहीं, कहीं जाने की जरूरत नहीं. We need to do research work in our area. No any psychologist develop a single model to improve mental qualities of the whole world. Because mental qualities are related with the geographical environmental qualities. And it is different. वो अलग अलग है. एक गुजराती व्यक्ति का बिहेवियर अलग होगा, पंजाबी का अलग होगा, हरियाणवी का अलग होगा, यूपी, बिहार, बंगाल के लोगों का अलग होगा. वो अलग क्या है? These are mental qualities which is related with the geography, nature. We need to understand Vedic system which is exist amongst us. Some performance formula sacrifice also refers to the non-attachment to the outcomes of all our actions. Sacrifice, selfless interest. भगवान से पूछा गया कि भाई हमारे बीच इतने डिफरेंसेस हैं. भगवान गीता में कहते हैं कि नो डिफरेंसेस among us. Difference is due to selfish interest. यदि हम अपने स्वार्थ को हटा दें तो हम सब एक जैसे लोग. Positive qualities develop common behavior. पॉजिटिव बिहेवियर चाहे वो गुजराती हो, पंजाबी हो, हरियाणवी हो, हिंदी वाला हो, बंगाली हो, बिहारी हो, positive qualities are common. Why we are stressed to develop positive qualities? Positive behavior, balanced approach. These are common qualities which exist amongst us. Differences is selfish interest. हमारे स्वार्थ हमारे बीच फासले पैदा कर देते हैं. Knowledge, mind, speech and action together becomes a chemistry that is considered a spiritual knowledge in the Bhagavad Gita. I have just explained. Knowledge, mind, speech and action together is a complete chemistry for the physical fitness, mental fitness, a stress-free life, tension-free life. जैसा सोचे वैसा बोले, कितना बोले जितना हम परफॉर्म कर सके. Knowledge and the karma or the actions complete each other. We cannot decide the right action without the knowledge. And without any action, the knowledge has no application in the life. बिना ज्ञान का कर्म नहीं हो सकता और बिना कर्म का ज्ञान का कोई मतलब नहीं. This is another my paper, research papers and lectures, knowledge and language, mental, nature, language and mental fitness. ये रिसर्च पेपर है मेरा, रिसर्च गेट पे है, जो पढ़ना चाहता हो जाके पढ़ सकता है. Action is a duties first, because duties complete your knowledge and speech. कर्म योग, इन दोनों के प्रति प्रेम, दिस इज कॉल्ड भक्ति योग. कमिटमेंट ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ योर नॉलेज एंड एक्शन. जैसा ज्ञान है वैसा ही परफॉर्मेंस है, और आपका उसके प्रति श्रद्धा होनी चाहिए, प्रेम होना चाहिए. जिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में हम काम कर रहे हैं उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से प्रेम होना चाहिए, अपने काम से प्रेम होना चाहिए, अपनी परफॉर्मेंस से प्रेम होना चाहिए, अपनी व्यवस्थाओं को ठीक करने की कोशिश होनी चाहिए. दिस इज अ भक्ति योग. भक्ति योग अंधभक्ति नहीं है. भक्ति योग अपने कर्म के प्रति, अपनी भाषा से प्रेम है. कि हम किसी से झगड़ा कर लेते हैं, उल्टा सीधा बोल देते हैं, फिर कहते हैं सॉरी. व्हाई वी से सॉरी? व्हाई वी से रॉन्ग वर्ड्स? व्हाई इरिटेट? वी बैलेंस आवर अप्रोच. This is a balanced behavior, balanced mental qualities, language, balance your thought process. And action, discipline your speech. ये तीनों एक दूसरे से रिलेट करते हैं. आपके थॉट प्रोसेस को आपकी भाषा नियंत्रित करती है, और आपकी भाषा को आपकी परफॉर्मेंस नियंत्रित करती है. एक्शन, खूब सोचें, खूब बोलें और करें कुछ नहीं. It will create a stress, tension. We need to think in this way. अमेरिका वाले वैदिक सिस्टम पे रिसर्च नहीं करेंगे. अमेरिका वाले, इंग्लैंड वाले गुजराती कल्चर पे रिसर्च नहीं करेंगे. गुजरात की भाषा पे रिसर्च नहीं करेंगे. यदि हम और आप नहीं करेंगे तो वो क्यों करेंगे? ये एक बड़ी अजीब स्थिति है कि हम ये सोचते हैं कि फॉरेनर्स हमें बताएं कि हमारी ताकत क्या है, हमारी क्वालिटीज क्या है. वो तो यही बताएंगे कि आप बेवकूफ हैं, मूर्ख हैं, हम समझदार हैं. वो समझदार हैं इसीलिए हम पे रूल कर रहे हैं. जिस दिन हम अपनी क्वालिटीज को नर्चर करेंगे, समझेंगे, उसी दिन भारत माता की जय भी हो जाएगा. भारत माता की जय बोलने से नहीं होगा, सोचने से नहीं होगा. बॉर्डर पे गोली चलाने की जरूरत नहीं है, अपनी व्यवस्थाओं को समझने की जरूरत है. वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड आवर कल्चर, लैंग्वेज, लाइफ स्टाइल, और वी कैन से वैदिक सिस्टम. मेरे कई इस पे लेक्चर्स हैं. गीता पे मेरे 8-10 पेपर्स हैं जो रिसर्च गेट पे एग्जिस्ट करते हैं. जो भी पढ़ना चाहता हो वहां पे जा सकता है. मैंने सबसे पहले आपको अपना मेल और मोबाइल नंबर है मेरा, आप कभी भी मुझसे कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं और मैं उस पे आपको बात कर सकता हूं. ठीक है. थैंक यू ऑल ऑफ यू. मैं अपने वाणी को विराम देता हूं. थैंक यू.
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया डॉक्टर अखिलेश मिश्रा सर. और बड़े ही बखूबी तरीके से और बड़े ही कम टाइम के अंदर आपने किस तरह से एनवायरनमेंट और जियोग्राफिकल फैक्टर्स किस तरह से हमारे माइंड को डेवलप करते हैं, हाउ द लैंग्वेजेस आर डेवलप्ड, और माइंड, बॉडी एंड हार्ट का किस तरह से कनेक्शन है, एंड हाउ कैन वी थिंक अबाउट ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन ऑफ आवरसेल्व्स एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग आवर बेसिक ड्यूटीज एंड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज. वो आपने बड़े ही बखूबी तरीके से हम सबको समझाया. उसके लिए आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया सर. And it is a great honor for all of us that we have such expertise and they have such innovative skills to correlate everything with in relation to research, and this is going to be a great help to the upcoming research scholars and academicians who are connected virtually with this conference. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable knowledge and valuable speech, and we will be heartily thankful to you. Moving on with this conference, next person to whom I'm going to introduce, the name of the legendary speaker is on with this conference. Hello ma'am, good morning, and I would like to introduce you, and it is going to be my honor. She is an assistant professor in Department of Sociology at ML Sukhadia University, Udaipur. and she has a teaching experience of more than 18 years. And if we talk about research, and she has the experience in the field of research for more than 20 years. If we talk about her achievements in various fields, then she has published 2 books, and near about 16 research papers and articles have been published by her in national and international conferences. 6 chapters in edited books and 6 book reviews were there. And almost 31 papers have been presented by Dr. Sumitra Sharma in various conferences. And if we talk about her area of specialization, so her area of specialization is social stratification and social mobility, gender studies, and village studies. And if we talk about her guideship for the research scholars, 2 students have already completed their doctoral degrees under her guidance, and 4 students are currently pursuing their PhD in various social studies and field. So it's a great pleasure for us that we have such an expert in between us virtually. You are connected from Udaipur to you, and I'll request you to share your experience and knowledge in relation to this title of conference, and so that the participants can get benefit. Dr. Sumitra Sharma, ma'am.
Am I audible, Himanshu?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. You can continue.
Thank you, Himanshu. And good morning, all of you. Dignitaries, Mr. Yogesh Joshi ji, Principal, Gopinathji Mahila Arts and Commerce College. दिलीप जोशी जी, जिनसे सबसे पहले मेरा इंट्रोडक्शन हुआ था, महेंद्र जी, अखिलेश जी, कुमुद जी, डॉक्टर परेश जी, डॉक्टर नेहा पालीवाल जी, जो मेरी ही यूनिवर्सिटी के हैं। आप सभी को गुड मॉर्निंग। सबसे पहले मैं अपना लेक्चर है हिंदी में डिलीवर करूंगी। सबसे पहले मैं थैंक्स कहना चाहूँगी ऑर्गेनाइजर्स को, जिन्होंने मुझे ये अपॉर्चुनिटी दी कि मैं कुछ इस इनोवेशन जो आपकी कॉलेज कॉन्फ्रेंस ऑर्गेनाइज कर रही है, इनोवेशंस एंड रिसेंट ट्रेंड्स इन कॉमर्स एंड ह्यूमैनिटीज। आपने जैसा कि हिमांशु जब अपने कॉलेज का अपना इंट्रोडक्शन दे रहे थे तो आपने कहा कि हमारी महिला कॉलेज है और आसपास में जो महिलाओं का एजुकेशन में जो ड्रॉप आउट्स हो रहा था, ड्रॉप आउट रेट्स काफ़ी हायर थी, उसको रोकने की दिशा में आप लोगों ने सभी ने एफर्ट किए। और क्योंकि जेंडर स्टडीज़ जो है वो मेरा पसंदीदा एरिया है, सबसे ना इंटरेस्ट ऑफ एरिया मेरा जेंडर स्टडीज, सोशल स्ट्रेटिफिकेशन, इनइक्वलिटी, सोशल मोबिलिटीज, रूरल स्टडीज, ये मेरा ना इंटरेस्ट के एरियाज हैं जहां मैं काम करती भी हूं और कई एनजीओ से भी जुड़ी हुई हूं, वहां की रूरल एरियाज की वीमेन से भी मैं जुड़ी हुई हूँ। तो इनोवेशन आज जो मैं अपना जो व्यूज रखूंगी वो टुवर्ड्स द जेंडर इक्वलिटी थ्रू इनोवेशन, towards the gender equality through innovation की हम बात करें, क्योंकि हमारे साथ में शायद है ना जो ऑडियंस है, जो हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं, वो फीमेल पार्टिसिपेंट्स ज़्यादा होगी, आई थिंक सो।
Yes, ma'am. There are male, but maximum participants belong to a female gender.
Okay. तो लेकिन हाँ, ये दोनों के लिए है, ऐसा नहीं है, क्योंकि जेंडर इक्वलिटी दोनों के लिए जरूरी है ना। जेंडर सेंसिटाइजेशन की बात की जाती है। इनोवेशन बेसिकली जहाँ न कॉमर्स को, ई कॉमर्स को बढ़ावा देती है, सोसाइटी में बिजनेस को बढ़ावा देती है, कई तरह के न्यू आइडियाज आते हैं, आइडियोलॉजिकल इनोवेशंस हो सकते हैं और टेक्नोलॉजिकल इनोवेशंस हो सकते हैं, जो सोसाइटी में कई तरह की डेवलपमेंट लाती है, चेंजेस लाती है, ट्रांसफॉर्मिंग करती है, ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन की तरफ है ना सोसाइटी को आगे एनकरेज करती है। ये इनोवेशन ही है कि कल ना, अभी कुछ दिनों पहले की बात है, हम सब लोग यूज टू हो चुके हैं ना जो ऑनलाइन पेमेंट के, और ई कॉमर्स कैसे अपने आप को बढ़ावा देती है कि एक एड है ना जो मैं जीपे किया मैंने, और उसमें एक स्क्रैच कार्ड आता है, जीपे करते हैं अपन, तो जब मैंने स्क्रैच कार्ड को रब किया तो उसमें कुछ प्रोडक्ट का था, कंपनी का नाम था, और उसमें था कि ये फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट आपको मिलेगा। ठीक है, ओके। मैंने उसको जब रिडीम करने के लिए आगे बढ़ी तो उसमें 99 वो जो प्रोडक्ट था 500 का था और उसमें जो डिलीवरी चार्ज था 100 रुपीज़ था। ई कॉमर्स इनोवेटिव आइडियाज कि हम अपना ऐड भी हो रहा है ना, कस्टमर को फ्री में भी मिल रहा है और कस्टमर उसको यूज कर रहा है तो उससे अट्रैक्ट भी हो रहा है। इनोवेटिव आइडियाज, तो यहाँ जो ये आप लोगों का है कि इनोवेटिव आइडियाज की रूरल एरियाज में आप कॉलेज इस्टेब्लिश करते हैं, ड्रॉप आउट रेट्स को रोकते हैं थ्रू कॉन्फ्रेंस के थ्रू, सेमिनार्स के थ्रू, मोटिवेशनल लिंक है ना, आपका लेक्चर्स के थ्रू महिलाओं को कहीं ना कहीं एनकरेज करते हैं। आज मैं मेरा लेक्चर शुरू करूँ उससे पहले कुछ चीजें बताना चाह रही हूँ। आज सुबह सुबह मैं उठी और चाय के साथ में पेपर लेके बैठती, मेरी आदत है। तो उसमें एक छोटा दैनिक भास्कर पेपर था मेरे हाथ में और उसमें जो फ्रंट पेज का फ्रंट कॉलम जो सबसे पहला कॉलम था उसमें जो हेडिंग मैं पढ़ के सुना रही हूँ, वैवाहिक विज्ञापनों में बेटियों के रंग से जुड़े विवरण अब नहीं छापेगा भास्कर। इनोवेटिव, बिल्कुल डिफरेंट आइडियाज कि जिसके बारे में हम कभी ना सोचा नहीं जा सकता था कि हाँ इस संदर्भ में भी कुछ सोचा जा सकता है या काम किया जा सकता है। जो कलर को लेकर, फीमेल के कलर्स को लेकर जो डिस्क्रिमिनेशन किया जाता है उस पर क्वेश्चन पुटअप होना चाहिए, जो आज वास्तव में, और इसमें जो लैंग्वेज आई है कि एक प्रगतिशील समाज के लिए हम सबको ऐसे रंग भेद के खिलाफ खड़ा होना होगा। रंग से परे हट व्यक्ति का अपना विशिष्ट व्यक्तित्व और योग्यता होती है। ये जो दो वर्ड्स हैं, इन दोनों वर्ड्स ने मुझे काफी इम्प्रेस किया कि हाँ हमें अपनी व्यक्तित्व की बात करनी चाहिए और हमें अपनी योग्यता की बात करनी चाहिए। इनोवेटिव आइडियाज, साइमन द बुआ की जो बुक है द सेकंड सेक्स, और उसमें वो लिखते हैं वीमन इज नॉट बॉर्न बट रादर देन बिकम वीमन। महिला पैदा नहीं होती है, महिला बनाई जाती है थ्रू द सोसाइटी। हम बात करते हैं और ये चीज हमें सही भी प्रतीत होती है क्योंकि जब हम बात करते हैं इक्वलिटी की, लेकिन हम जहाँ कहीं भी देखते हैं असमानता, इनइक्वलिटी ही हमें हर एक एस्पेक्ट में दिखाई देती है, चाहे वो पॉलिटिकल एस्पेक्ट हो, चाहे वो आपका सोशल एस्पेक्ट हो, चाहे वो इकोनॉमिकल अपॉर्चुनिटीज हो, चाहे लाइफ चांसेस, अपॉर्चुनिटीज इन वर्क प्लेस, वर्क एरियाज एंड लाइफ चांसेस के रेफरेंस में। नहीं तो क्या कारण है कि जैसे जैसे लिटरेसी रेट बढ़ रही है, जैसे जैसे हायर एजुकेशन में वीमेन का रेशियो बढ़ रहा है, फिटिसाइड और इन्फेंटिसाइड भी साथ साथ में बढ़ती जा रही है। क्या कारण है? लाइफ चांसेस के अवसर महिलाओं को क्यों कम मिल रहे हैं? सब चीजें हो रही है लेकिन फिर भी ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है? तो यहाँ अवसरों की असमानता की बात उठती है, प्रश्न उठाए जाते हैं और उठाने भी चाहिए। महिलाओं के लिए अगर हम बात करें तो आदर्शों की बात की जाती है, संस्कारों की बात की जाती है, और जो उन आदर्शों और संस्कारों को मानकर जो कि ऑलरेडी ना जो ट्रेंड में चले आ रहे हैं उनको हम एज इट इज एक्सेप्ट कर लेते हैं और उनको मान के चलते हैं, उन रास्तों पे चलते हैं। दैट्स वी कॉल आदर्श विमेन और आदर्श महिला है। बिकॉज सीता जो क्वेश्चन, किसी भी सिस्टम में कोई क्वेश्चन पुटअप नहीं करती है, वरन वो सहन करती चलती है हर एक व्यवस्था को। वो अपनी परीक्षा भी देती है, वो वनवास भी चली जाती है सब कुछ छोड़कर, लेकिन और उसको समाज में बहुत प्रशंसा भी की जाती है, सराहा भी जाता है। लेकिन दूसरी तरफ वो महिला जो उस व्यवस्था के खिलाफ खड़ी होती है, उस व्यवस्था पर प्रश्न उठाती है, विद्रोह करती है, असमानता के खिलाफ वो आवाज उठाती है, आदर्शों को नहीं मान रही है, वो व्यवस्था को मान के चल रही है, लेकिन व्यवस्था में कहीं भी असंगतियां आती है, विसंगतियां आती है, वहां वो अपनी आवाज भी बताती है। द्रौपदी, इसको द्रौपदी कहा जाता है और द्रौपदी को कोई भी अपने परिवार में, अपने समाज में स्वीकार नहीं करता। अब हम आते हैं इनोवेशन, क्योंकि ये तो हमारी ट्रेडिशनल सोसाइटी है। महिला के दोनों रूप सोसाइटी में देखे जा सकते हैं। एक को एक्सेप्टेंस मिलती है, दूसरे को रिजेक्शंस मिलते हैं। यहाँ पर हम बात करें कि लैंगिकता के प्रश्न सभी जगह उठ रहे हैं, जेंडर इक्वलिटी के प्रश्न उठ रहे हैं, और हम बात करें तो हम लोकेलिटी के साथ में जुड़े हुए नहीं हैं, ग्लोबलाइज्ड एरिया में हैं, ग्लोबलाइजेशन के युग में हैं। जब ग्लोबलाइजेशन के युग में है तो हम यही बात करें कि हमारे जो क्वेश्चंस हैं, हमारे जो इश्यूज हैं, जेंडर इश्यूज हैं, वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ स्थानिकता के साथ, लोकेलिटी के साथ ही जुड़े रह सकते हैं, पॉसिबल नहीं है। चाहे ये फेमिनिज्म से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चंस हो, चाहे मी टू मूवमेंट हो, चाहे दिल्ली में चलने वाला पिंजरा तोड़ आंदोलन हो, कोई भी क्वेश्चन हो जो कि जेंडर इश्यू से रिलेटेड है, वो तब स्थानिकता से, लोकेलिटी से उठकर ग्लोबल लेवल पर पहुंच जाता है, और ग्लोबल लेवल पर कई तरह के राष्ट्रों की, सभी राष्ट्रों की अपनी प्रतिक्रियाएं आनी शुरू हो जाती है। और यहाँ पर यही बात है कि जैसे ही वैश्विक स्तर पर प्रतिक्रियाएं आती है, सरकारें अपना एक्शन लेना शुरू करती है। सरकारें अपना एक्शन लेना शुरू करती है। यहाँ से शुरू होता है आइडियोलॉजीज में चेंजेस, वैचारिक स्तर पर परिवर्तन। वैचारिक स्तर पर परिवर्तन आता है, कहीं आपके आइडियोलॉजीज में इनोवेशन होता है, टेक्नोलॉजी में इनोवेशन होता है, तो नए कार्य क्षेत्रों का भी सृजन होता है, नए कार्य क्षेत्र भी उद्भव होते हैं। जो सोसाइटी में रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्ट करते हैं, उनको चुनौतियां भी मिलती है, उनके संदर्भ में जागरूकता भी लोगों में आती है। आज हम जो बात करते हैं ग्लोबलाइजेशन में, इंटरनेट और इंफॉर्मेशन रिवॉल्यूशन। इंटरनेट और इंफॉर्मेशन रिवॉल्यूशन ने जो हमारे इश्यूज को, जेंडर इश्यूज को हाउस से लेकर आपके वर्क प्लेस तक पहुंचा दिया है। जेंडर इश्यूज को रूरल एरियाज से लेकर अर्बन एरियाज तक पहुंचा दिया है। जेंडर इश्यूज को आपकी जो स्मॉल स्केल के इंडस्ट्रीज से लेकर एमएनसीज तक पहुंचा दिया है। वहां पर भी जेंडर इश्यूज उठने लग गए हैं, और जेंडर इश्यूज पर बात भी होने लगी है। डे बाय डे जो न्यू इनोवेशंस हो रहे हैं, उसके साथ में हमारी जिस सोसाइटी में मेल एंड फीमेल दोनों के जो आइडियोलॉजीज, लाइफ स्टाइल, ये चेंज हो रही है, और लैंगिकता के, जेंडर के बेस पर जो स्टेटस एंड रोल पहले से डिसाइड थे या प्रिस्क्राइब किए गए थे, उनमें चेंजेस आ रहे हैं। अब जेंडर इश्यूज के संदर्भ में जो क्वेश्चंस उठाए जा रहे हैं, वहां पर हर एक महिला अपनी आवाज को उसके साथ में जोड़ना चाहती है। बात 1984 की है, जब एक लड़की ने जीआरडी टाटा को क्वेश्चन एक लेटर लिखा। एक लड़की ने जो कि हार्डली 20 से 22 ईयर्स की थी, और उसने जीआरडी टाटा को एक लेटर लिखा। टाटा इंडस्ट्री में एक वैकेंसी निकली थी, 1984 की बात है ये ना, पोस्ट थी इंजीनियर्स के लिए। उस एड में लिखा हुआ था ओनली फॉर मेन, ओनली फॉर मेन, मेल के लिए था। उस लड़की ने, ये जो एडवर्टाइज आया, वो उस लड़की को समझ में नहीं आया कि व्हाई ओनली फॉर मेन, व्हाई नॉट वीमेन, महिलाओं के लिए क्यों नहीं। उन्होंने जेआरडी टाटा को क्वेश्चन, एक लेटर लिखा, सिंपल सा पोस्ट कार्ड में लिख के भेजा, और ये क्वेश्चन उठाया कि महिलाएं क्यों नहीं इंजीनियर बन सकती हैं। और यही लैंगिकता का प्रश्न जो उन्होंने, क्योंकि हम उस समय 1984 में तो कल्पना भी नहीं कर सकते थे कि इस तरह की कुछ क्वेश्चंस भी कोई उठा सकता है, और वहां पर जब वो उठाया गया तो जेआरडी टाटा को रियलाइज हुआ, और उन्होंने तुरंत अपने एडवर्टाइज में चेंज किया, और वहां पर आया पोस्ट फॉर द मैन एंड वीमेन। और ये क्वेश्चन उठाने वाली थी सुधा मूर्ति, जो कि आज इंफोसिस की सीईओ है, और ये इनोवेशन वो लेके आई, तभी आज वो ऊंचाइयों तक पहुंच पाई है। यहाँ पर हम बात करें तो लैंगिकता के संदर्भ में भी जागरूकता आ रही है, टेक्नोलॉजिकल एडवांसमेंट हो रहा है, अपलिफ्टेड एक्सेस, अनलिमिटेड एक्सेस ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन हो रहा है, अपस्किलिंग अपॉर्चुनिटीज महिलाओं को मिल रही है, जिससे कि लैंगिक असमानता को दूर करने के प्रयास किए जा रहे हैं। जेंडर और इनोवेशन, इन दोनों को रिलेट करके कम बातें होती है, लेकिन दोनों ही ह्यूमन प्रोग्रेस के लिए और ह्यूमन डेवलपमेंट के लिए उतना ही जरूरी है। अगर जरूरी नहीं होता तो सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स, जिसमें 17 गोल्स हैं, उसमें जेंडर इक्वलिटी और इनोवेशन को जगह नहीं मिलती। तो जेंडर इक्वलिटी जितनी जरूरी है सोसाइटी के डेवलपमेंट के लिए, सोसाइटी के प्रोग्रेस के लिए, उतना ही जरूरी है इनोवेशन, जिससे कि सोसाइटी को आगे बढ़ाया जा सके। जो ट्रेडिशनल वैल्यू सिस्टम है, जो ट्रेडिशनल नॉर्म सिस्टम है, जो ट्रेडिशनल बिहेवियरल पैटर्न्स है, उनको चेंज किया जा सके, चैलेंजेस उनके सामने खड़े किए जा सके। जब हम क्वेश्चंस उठाते हैं तो चैलेंज सामने आते हैं, और चैलेंज सामने आते हैं तो कोई ना कोई उसका सोल्यूशन अपने आप निकल के आता है। मतलब प्रोग्रेस और डेवलपमेंट के रास्ते अपने आप साथ में खुलते चलते जाते हैं। परंपरागत ट्रेडिशनल सिस्टम है वो डिस्टर्ब होता है, उसमें व्यवधान आता है। और ये जो इनोवेशंस है, इन्हीं के आधार पर जब हम बात करें इनोवेशन आइडियाज की, तो आपने नाम सुना होगा रूमा देवी। रूमा देवी राजस्थान की है, बाड़मेर की है, और हार्डली 8th पास है, सिर्फ 8th क्लास तक उसकी एजुकेशन है, लेकिन ग्लोबल लेवल पर उसका नाम है। और नाम क्यों है? क्योंकि उसके आइडियाज थे वो बिल्कुल न्यू थे। उसने जो ट्रेडिशनल ट्रेंड्स को उन्होंने चैलेंज दिया, क्वेश्चंस उठाया, और उन्होंने कहा कि अगर मैं काम नहीं करूंगी, उन्होंने अपना जो हुनर है कढ़ाई का, एम्ब्रॉयडरी का, उसको यूज किया और उसको ग्लोबल लेवल तक वो पहुंचाई। अपने नाम सुना होगा गुलाबों का, वो भी नहीं जा सकती थी ग्लोबल लेवल पर, लेकिन उसने जो हमारे पैट्रियार्किकल सिस्टम को उसने ना जो उस पर क्वेश्चंस उठाया और उसको सामने चैलेंज खड़ा किया, और उन्हीं के आधार पर उन्होंने अपने समाज में आने वाली न्यू जनरेशन के लिए एक नया रास्ता खोला, जिस पर कि और लड़कियां मोटिवेट हुई और लड़कियां जो इकोनॉमिक रूप से सोशली एम्पावर्ड होकर आगे बढ़ने की कोशिश करने लगी। इनोवेशन बेसिकली जेंडर इश्यूज के संदर्भ में समझे और हम फीमेल के संदर्भ में समझे तो हेल्थ और इकोनॉमी, इनोवेशन ने महिलाओं से के रिलेशन में या महिलाओं के रेफरेंस में हेल्थ और इकोनॉमिक में बहुत ज़्यादा उनको बेनिफिट पहुंचाया है, उनको बेनिफिशियल जो उससे उन्होंने लाभ उठाया है, और इससे वो इकोनॉमिक एम्पावर भी हो रही है, इकोनॉमिक रूप में वो एम्पावर हो रही है, डिसीजन लेने का पावर भी उनके पास में आ रहा है। यहाँ पर अगर हम कहें कि जो इनोवेशन है, इनोवेशन ना सिर्फ समाज को चुनौती देता है, यहाँ पर जो प्रिस्क्राइब्ड जो सोशल फॉर्मेशन है उसमें हमारे रोल एंड स्टेटस को भी डिफाइन करता है, और ये यूएनडीपी यूनाइटेड नेशन डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम का एक जो मोटिव है कि ट्रांसफॉर्मिंग द फ्यूचर ऑफ वर्क फॉर जेंडर इक्वलिटी के लिए इनोवेशन सबसे जरूरी है, जिसमें कि शिफ्टिंग लेबर मार्केट न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी के आधार पर सिस्टम को चेंज किया जा सके, जेंडर सेंसिटाइजेशन किया जा सके। जेंडर सेंसिटाइजेशन का जो बेसिकली इशू है कि यहाँ जो मैं बात कर रही हूँ जेंडर इश्यूज की, तो यहाँ मेल वर्सेस फीमेल नहीं है, क्योंकि दोनों सोसाइटी के इम्पोर्टेंट पार्ट हैं और दोनों साथ चलेंगी तभी सोसाइटी डेवलप हो सकती है। तो यहाँ आवश्यकता है जेंडर सेंसिटाइजेशन की, कि जिस तरह से मेल मेंबर्स हैं वो यहाँ पर अपना एग्जिस्टेंस चाहते हैं, तो उनका एक्सेप्टेंस दें फीमेल के लिए। सिर्फ स्वीकार्यता की आवश्यकता है, स्वीकार करने की आवश्यकता है, बराबरी में लाने की आवश्यकता है, एक दूसरे की विरोधी होने की आवश्यकता नहीं है। यूएनडीपी का जो बेसिकली उनका जो 5 कंट्रीज उन्होंने लिए थे, मालदीव, थाईलैंड, मलेशिया, फिजी एंड भारत, है ना, इंडिया की बात करते हैं, तो यहाँ पर टेक्नोलॉजिकल एंड नॉन टेक्नोलॉजिकल इनोवेशन के आधार पर महिलाओं को 3 आधारों पर उन्होंने इनको एम्पावर करने की उन्होंने कोशिश की। ये 3 आधार कौन कौन से थे? इंस्टीट्यूशनल लेवल पर या एजेंसी लेवल पे, स्ट्रक्चरल लेवल पे और रिलेशनल और बिहेवियरल पैटर्न पर। एजुकेशनल लेवल पर ना फीमेल के लिए एक फीमेल फ्रेंडली एनवायरनमेंट की आवश्यकता है। इंस्टीट्यूशनल लेवल पर फीमेल फ्रेंडली एनवायरनमेंट की आवश्यकता है। ना स्ट्रक्चरल स्टेज पर वहाँ फीमेल के लिए जो जो सुविधाओं की आवश्यकता होनी चाहिए, जो कि बेसिक रिक्वायरमेंट है, बेसिक नीड्स है, वो वहाँ स्ट्रक्चरल स्टेज पर अवेलेबल उनका होना जरूरी है। और रिलेशनल की यहाँ एक कॉम्पिटिटिव की तरह नहीं, मेल एंड फीमेल एक एनिमी की तरह नहीं, वरन एक पार्टनर की तरह काम करे, इस तरह का एनवायरनमेंट ना प्रोवाइड किया जाए, जिससे कि सोसाइटी में सोसाइटी एक प्रोग्रेसिव वे में आगे बढ़ सके, इंस्टीट्यूशन एक प्रोग्रेसिव वे में आगे बढ़ सके। इनोवेशन बेसिकली जो ट्रेडिशनल सोसाइटी में डिस्ट्रप्टिव ना जो सिस्टम की तरह काम करता है, एक विघटनकारी व्यवस्था की काम करता है। और इसमें जो बेसिकली ना टेक्नोलॉजी पर फोकस किया गया है, यह चीज मैं छोड़ती हूँ। यहाँ अब कुछ चैलेंजेस जो जेंडर इश्यूज के आते हैं, तो कुछ चैलेंजेस हैं। और हम इंडिया की बात करें तो वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम WEF, वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम की जो ग्लोबल जेंडर गैप रिपोर्ट 2021, भारत कहाँ है जेंडर इक्वलिटी के रैंक पर, यह हम बात करना चाह रहे हैं। कि हम इनोवेशन को भी बात करते हैं, हम इनोवेशन इन आइडियोलॉजीज की भी बात करते हैं, लेकिन हम इंडिया की बात करें तो इंडिया उस रैंक में, क्या हम उन इक्वलिटी के प्रतिमानों तक पहुंच पाए हैं, उस गोल तक पहुंच पा रहे हैं, या कोशिश कितनी जारी है? ड्यू टू कोविड-19 के कारण हमारे यहाँ और पूरे वर्ल्ड में ही वर्क फोर्स में से महिलाओं का पार्टिसिपेशन जो रेट है वो डाउन आया है, बशर्ते मेल। महिलाओं के वर्क पार्टिसिपेशन वर्क फोर्स में जो परसेंटेज है डाउन हुआ है। तो यहाँ इंडिया की अगर GRR रिपोर्ट की बात करें तो 150 कंट्रीज में से इंडिया का जो रैंक है वो 28 जगह से खिसक कर 140 पे आ चुका है, जो कि 2020 में 153 कंट्रीज में 112 रैंक थी, 112 रैंक थी, वो अब 140 पे आ चुका है। मतलब ओनली 16 जो कंट्रीज हैं जो जेंडर इक्वलिटी में हमसे आगे हैं, सॉरी वर्स्ट हैं, हमसे वर्स्ट हैं। अदरवाइज जो 139 कंट्रीज में जो जेंडर इक्वलिटी का रेट है वो हमसे हायर है। और अगर हम एशियन कंट्रीज की बात करें तो एशियन कंट्रीज में जो भारत है सबसे 3rd नंबर, जो सबसे वर्स्ट कंट्रीज है उसमें 3rd नंबर पर भारत का नाम आ रहा है। और अगर हम बात करें ना वर्क फोर्स में पार्टिसिपेशन की, तो जो कोविड से पहले 24.8% था वो गिरकर 22.3% हो चुका है। अगर जो सीनियर मैनेजरियल पोस्ट की बात करें तो 14.6, टोटल में सिर्फ 14.6 महिलाएं हैं जो इस पोस्ट पर है ना। और टॉप मोस्ट कंट्रीज में ओनली 8.9% महिलाएं हैं जो मैनेजर की पोस्ट पर। टॉप मोस्ट कंट्री कंपनीज की बात कर रही हूँ। जेंडर इक्वलिटी में जो GR है वो बेसिकली 4 बेस को लेके, आधार को लेके चलता है। और ये 4 बेसिस किस लिए है और कौन कौन से हैं? तो फर्स्ट है इकोनॉमिक पार्टिसिपेशन एंड अपॉर्चुनिटीज, इकोनॉमिक पार्टिसिपेशन एंड अपॉर्चुनिटीज। सेकंड, जिसमें कि महिलाओं को आर्थिक क्रियाओं में भागीदारिता मिले और उनके लिए समान अवसर उपलब्ध हो, नौकरियों के लिए समान अवसर उपलब्ध हो। जब हम कॉन्वोकेशन देखते हैं, कॉन्वोकेशन में ना जब हम जाते हैं तो वहाँ जो गोल्ड मेडल लेने वाली या डिग्री लेने वाली महिलाएं होती है, लेकिन जब हम वर्क के लिए जाते हैं कि बाहर की दुनिया में कि वर्क पार्टिसिपेशन में फिर महिलाओं की रेट कम क्यों है, यहाँ क्वेश्चन हो जाता है। एजुकेशनल अटेनमेंट, शिक्षा प्रणाली में सहभागिता हो। सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है हेल्थ एंड सर्वाइवल। कितने परसेंट, जो भारत की कितने परसेंट महिलाएं हैं वो कि आज भी एनीमिया से पीड़ित है। सर्वाइवल, एग्जिस्टेंस उनका बहुत एक क्रिटिकल स्टेजेस से गुजरता है, क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ सेक्रीफाइस करना सिखाया जाता है। और पॉलिटिकल एनवायरनमेंट, हम भी जानते हैं कि पॉलिटिकल जो स्फीयर में कितनी महिलाएं हैं वो अपना इन्वॉल्वमेंट ना वहाँ पर देती है। इसके लिए जो जो वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम ने बेसिकली पॉलिसीज एंड प्रैक्टिस की रूपरेखा इनके आधार पर ही उन्होंने तैयार की। अब क्वेश्चन आ रहा है कि फिर कौन सा कंट्री है जो सबसे टॉप मोस्ट है जेंडर इक्वलिटी के लिए? क्वेश्चन सभी के मन में यही आ रहा होगा। तो आइसलैंड जो 2021 का जो कंट्री है, आइसलैंड, जहां जेंडर इक्वलिटी रेट में वो सबसे हायर है ना। 2020 में आइसलैंड नहीं था, स्विट्जरलैंड वहां था, लेकिन स्विट्जरलैंड स्लिप होकर डाउन आ चुका है। आइसलैंड के अलावा जो टॉप 10 में कुछ कंट्रीज के नाम बता रही हूँ, फिनलैंड, नॉर्वे, न्यूजीलैंड, रवांडा, स्वीडन, आयरलैंड, ये कुछ कंट्रीज हैं जहां जेंडर इक्वलिटी के रेट काफी हायर हैं। और जेंडर इक्वलिटी और इनोवेशन, जेंडर इक्वलिटी को इनोवेशन के थ्रू बढ़ाने के लिए एसडीजीज ने अपने गोल्स में जो इन दोनों को इम्पोर्टेंट रखा, जिससे कि इसमें सबसे जो इम्पोर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट था वो था पावर एंड इन्फ्लुएंस। पावर एंड इन्फ्लुएंस के डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन मेल एंड फीमेल में समान रूप से हो, लीडरशिप दोनों को सही मिले, और फीमेल जो आइडियोलॉजिकली एंड टेक्नोलॉजिकली दोनों आधार पर सोसाइटी से जुड़े और सोसाइटी उससे बिल्कुल बेनिफिट ना उठाए। यहाँ पर अगर हम इनइक्वलिटी की बात करें, जेंडर इनइक्वलिटी को भी अगर हम छोड़ दें, लेकिन इनइक्वलिटी की बात करें तो यह क्वेश्चन उठता है कि क्या इनइक्वलिटी समाज के लिए हितकारी है, बेनिफिट पहुंचाती? ऐसा मानता चाहे इनइक्वलिटी किसी भी रूप में हो, वो समाज में विरोध ही पैदा करती है, विरोध ही बिना स्वरूपों को बढ़ाता है। इसलिए उसका डेवलपमेंट किसी भी सोसाइटी में इनइक्वलिटी के किसी भी फॉर्म से वहाँ की प्रोग्रेस और डेवलपमेंट रुक जाता है। और जेंडर इनइक्वलिटी की बात की जाए तो आपकी कंट्री की हाफ पॉपुलेशन प्रोडक्टिव वर्क करने में और देश के डेवलपमेंट में अपना योगदान करने में वो वंचित रह जाती। एक आधा भाग है, वो आधी पॉपुलेशन है, वो उससे पीछे हट जाती है। 2030 तक, 2030 तक एसडीजी का गोल है कि हम 50-50 का रेशियो तक, लक्ष्य तक पहुंच जाएंगे। मतलब 50-50 मतलब समानता के लक्ष्य तक पहुंच जाएंगे, दोनों को बराबर इक्वलिटी का ना जो हक प्राप्त होगा। लेकिन यहाँ हमारे जो एफर्ट किए जा रहे हैं वो अभी पर्याप्त नहीं। इसके लिए हमें कहीं और आगे बढ़कर एफर्ट करना होगा, आगे बढ़कर सोचना होगा। पॉलिसीज, मैनेजमेंट, फाइनेंस, साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी में इनोवेशन बेसिकली बिजनेस एज यूजुअल, बिजनेस एज यूजुअल का जो कंसेप्ट है उसको डिसरप्ट करने की कोशिश करता है एसडीजीज के गोल्स, कि इनके आधार पर जिस तरह से चलता आ रहा है उसको हम कहीं ना कहीं रोक दिया जाए। इसके लिए मोबाइल बैंकिंग जो नया कंसेप्ट है, एक नया इनोवेशन है, मोबाइल बैंकिंग वेंचर के थ्रू महिला एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को बढ़ावा दिया जा रहा है। उनके लिए ई लर्निंग का प्लेटफॉर्म अवेलेबल करवाया जा रहा है, जिससे कि जो सोसाइटी में महिलाएं एंटरप्रेन्योर की डायरेक्शन में, इकोनॉमिक एम्पावरमेंट की डायरेक्शन में और आगे बढ़े, उनमें कॉन्फिडेंट हो, और जो सोशल इनोवेशंस है उससे जो ट्रेडिशनल ट्रेंड्स हैं वो टूटे और महिलाएं अपना एक उचित स्थान बना सके। और ये एसडीजीज के जो गोल्स हैं, WEF के जो एफर्ट है, वो बेसिकली उन महिलाओं के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा बेनिफिशियल है जो मार्जिनलाइज हैं। इसलिए जो मेरा आपके स्टूडेंट से और फैकल्टी से यही कहना है कि जेंडर इनइक्वलिटी को अगर खत्म करना है तो हमें ना सिर्फ आइडियोलॉजिकल चेंज लाना होगा, वरन जो ग्राउंड लेवल पर और रूट लेवल पर जाकर सोसाइटी में जो ट्रेडिशनल ट्रेंड्स चलते आ रहे हैं उनमें जो हमारे समाज के लिए, सोसाइटी के लिए हितकारी है उनको रखें, अदरवाइज उनको डिसरप्ट करें। और मेल एंड फीमेल में जेंडर सेंसिटाइजेशन की आवश्यकता है, ना कि एक विरोधाभासी एनवायरनमेंट की। थैंक यू हिमांशु एंड ऑडियंस, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
थैंक यू सो मच सुमित्रा मैडम। जब मैं आपको सुन रहा था तो आपके फेस के एक्सप्रेशंस जज करने की कोशिश कर रहा था कि आप अपने एक्सपीरियंसेस, ये जो आपका वो जेंडर इनइक्वालिटी के प्रति आपकी जो सेंसिटिविटी है, इट वाज क्लियरली विजिबल। बट मैम, आई वुड लाइक टू टेल यू दैट यू विल बी हैप्पी टू नो कि गोपीनाथ जी महिला कॉमर्स एंड आर्ट्स कॉलेज वो महाराजा कृष्ण कुमार सिंह जी भावनगर यूनिवर्सिटी के साथ एफिलिएटेड है।
Okay.
But ma'am, if we talk about academic performance of girls, so out of 10 students of university rank, university के जो 1 से 10 students होते हैं, उसमें से हर सेमेस्टर में कम से कम 6 से 8 students गर्ल्स के होते हैं गोपीनाथ जी महिला कॉमर्स कॉलेज के। So यहाँ पर अदर देन एकेडमिक्स स्टूडेंट्स को सेल्फ डिफेंस की प्रैक्टिसेस भी कराई जाती है, उसकी ट्रेनिंग दी जाती है। अदर देन दैट सैटरडे संडे को योगा के क्लासेस भी कराए जाते हैं। और आफ्टर देयर ग्रेजुएशन एंड पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन उनको कहीं पर जॉब करना है तो वो प्लेसमेंट के लिए भी यहाँ पर गाइडेंस दिया जाता है। एंड मैम, इफ वी टॉक अबाउट द पार्टिसिपेंट्स ऑफ दिस कॉन्फ्रेंस, near about 250 students participants have joined, and out of that more than 140 are girl participants and remaining are male participants.
Okay.
तो वी आर वेरी थैंकफुल टू यू मैम कि आपने बहुत ही खूबसूरत तरीके से किस तरह से वुमेन को और जेंडर इनइक्वालिटी को दूर करने के लिए इनोवेशन को कैसे यूज कर सकते हैं उसके बारे में अपने पार्टिसिपेंट्स को बताया, और इसी चीज को मैग्नीफाई करके ग्लोबल लेवल तक किस तरह से पहुंचा जा सकता है, किस तरह से सोसाइटी को चेंज किया जा सकता है, उसके बारे में आपने बहुत ही शॉर्ट में लेकिन बहुत ही खूबसूरत तरीके से आपने पार्टिसिपेंट्स को बताया। और आपकी स्पीच सुनने के बाद आई रिमेम्बर्ड अ क्वोट ऑफ गांधी दैट आई वुड लाइक टू शेयर। सो एट द एंड ऑफ योर स्पीच यू वांटेड टू से दैट बी द चेंज दैट यू वांट टू सी इन दिस वर्ल्ड। सो सोशियोलॉजी के अंदर आप अगर आपको जेंडर इनइक्वालिटीज को दूर करनी है तो आपको शुरुआत अपने से करनी है।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
तो थैंक यू सो मच सुमित्रा मैम, हैविंग हर्ड टू यू एंड बहुत बहुत आज मजा आ रहा है कि कोई महेंद्र सिंह वर्मा है, उन्होंने लिटरेचर के बारे में बताया। अखिलेश मिश्रा सर है, उन्होंने इन्हीं सारी चीज़ों को स्पिरिचुअलिटी के एस्पेक्ट और भगवद गीता के माध्यम से समझाने की कोशिश करी। एंड द सेम थिंग यू एक्सप्रेस विद द हेल्प ऑफ जेंडर इनइक्वालिटीज एंड इनोवेटिव टेक्निक्स। Now, moving on with this conference, I would like to introduce another expert, and her name is Dr. Kumud Srivastav. Here again we have a legendary expert, and I would like to introduce her. She is a CBSE recognized psychologist and counselor in Lucknow, and she belongs to Uttar Pradesh. She is NCS registered career counselor and life member of Indian Science and Congress and Indian Academy Health Psychology. If we talk about her experience and also, she has served many institutions as a counselor and as a soft skill trainer. If we talk about her expertise in the field of psychology, so I would like to tell that she has chaired scientific session in International Conference of Indian Academy of Health Psychology 2 times. Other than that, she has delivered a talk in International Conference on Community Psychology at O.P. Jindal Global University, Sonipat. One of the most fantastic thing about Dr. Kumud Srivastav ma'am, I would like to tell that she is the founder of Wellness Center at Gomti Nagar, Lucknow. And this center basically provides counseling and a solution to all the psychological issues and clients and all the other patients. And apart from this, she's a mentor and counseling counselor in 4 different companies. So it's a great honor for all of us that all together, the experts from various fields like sociology, like psychology, all the experts have come together and they're sharing their experiences. So now I would like to hand over this mic to Dr. Kumar Srivastava ma'am, and I would request her to share her knowledge in relation to psychology with all the participants and our friends. Ma'am.
सबको नमस्कार और सबको धन्यवाद और आभार कि एक मौका मिला यहाँ पर आपसे अपनी बात कहने का। साथ साथ में मुझे चूंकि अपना वो भी शेयर भी करना है स्क्रीन, तो वो भी देख लेते हैं। Is it visible to you?
जी मैम, it is visible. You can continue with the same.
Okay, fine, very nice. इतनी सारी बातें हो रही थी और अगर उसमें मनोविज्ञान की हर पहलू की बात ना की जाए तो कॉन्फ्रेंस अधूरी सी है। और सर ने बहुत सारी चीजें बहुत काइंड वर्ड्स मेरे लिए बोले, सो थैंक यू सो वेरी मच। पर ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, बस मेरा एक लाइफ का मोटो है कि सबको अवेयर करना कि मानसिक स्वास्थ्य क्या है, कैसे इसको बनाए रखें, कैसे इस पे काम करें। और साथ साथ में ये भी एक इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज है कि मुझे एक मौका मिले ताकि मैं और लोगों तक अपनी बात को पहुंचा सकूं। बहुत अच्छा लगा, सुमित्रा जी ऐसे बोल रही थी जैसे पानी ऐसा बहता जा रहा था सरलता के साथ में, बहुत सुंदर लग रहा था उनसे कनेक्ट होना, उनकी बातों को सुनना। और जो आपने कहा कि जेंडर इक्वेशन की, जहां आपने बात कही कि इक्वालिटी की और इन चीजों को लेकर जो आपने इंस्टीट्यूट की अपनी बात कही, वो तो हैट्स ऑफ टू यू पीपल, बहुत अच्छा लगा, बहुत बढ़िया चीज है। और बच्चियों को इतना मौका दे रहे हैं, ये सबके लिए बहुत गर्व की भी बात है, स्पेसिफिकली जब मार्च का महीना हो, क्योंकि इंटरनेशनल वीमेन डे भी हमारे करीब है। एनीवेज, मुझे साइकोलॉजिकल इम्यून सिस्टम पे बात करनी है क्योंकि ये हमारी वेलबींग से बहुत क्लोजली रिलेटेड है। और अगर कहीं भी आपको कुछ बात कहनी हो, बीच में पूछना हो, तो प्लीज इंटरप्ट मी। आई डोंट लाइक अ वेरी गुड ऑडियंस एवरी टाइम। तो साइकोलॉजिकल इम्यून सिस्टम कुछ लोगों के लिए एक नया टर्म है और ये कैसे वेलबींग से रिलेटेड है, इसका सबसे ज्यादा असर हमें देखने को मिला जब से हमने पैंडेमिक को झेला। तो थोड़ी सी बात पैंडेमिक को लेकर और बाकी इन जनरल पूरी लाइफ साइकोलॉजिकल इम्यून सिस्टम कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है, इसकी हम लोग बात करेंगे। ड्यूरिंग पैंडेमिक हम सब ने इसको बहुत अच्छे क्लोजली फेस किया कि बायोलॉजिकल इम्यून सिस्टम पे बहुत सारी बात की गई कि बायोलॉजिकल इम्यून सिस्टम बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है और जिसके अंदर होता है तो फिर उसको कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होती है, सो फोर्थ। लेकिन इस सब के बीच में इतने ज्यादा मनोवैज्ञानिक और मानसिक स्वास्थ्य के इश्यूज आने लगे कि हमें कहीं ना कहीं लोगों को समझना पड़ा कि मानसिक स्वास्थ्य की उपयोगिता और महत्व को समझना और स्वीकारना दोनों ही महत्वपूर्ण है। वी नो अबाउट कोविड पैंडेमिक कि सर सेकंड स्लाइड दिख रहा है
अभी मैम, सिर्फ आपकी जो फर्स्ट स्क्रीन है वेलबीइंग साइकोलॉजिकल इम्यून सिस्टम वही दिख रहा है, सेकंड नहीं आ रहा है। हाँ, नाउ इट इज विजिबल।
ओके फाइन। सो COVID-19 pandemic is introducing a considerable degree of fear, worry, anxiety, insecurity, and concern issues in the population at large among certain groups in particularly such as older adult, care providers, people with underlying health conditions. The main psychology impact in duration is elevated rates of stress. हम सब जानते हैं, हमने सबने बहुत करीब से देखा है कि क्या दशा हो गई थी हम सब की, और कुछ इतने सारे इश्यूज लेकर हम सब स्ट्रगल कर रहे थे अपने अपने लेवल पे। बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग जो बिकॉज ऑफ कोरोना एडमिट हुए और लोनलीनेस और एंजाइटी और स्ट्रेस के कारण, वो भी एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण कारण था कि जिसमें उन्होंने अपना जीवन गंवा दिया। तो इतनी सारी बातें और इतने सारे इश्यूज, और सिर्फ एक छोटे से उपाय के साथ मैं आपके सामने प्रस्तुत हूँ कि हमको ये समझना पड़ेगा कि व्हाट इज साइकोलॉजिकल इम्यून सिस्टम। वी कॉल इट PIS, एज पर पीपल कॉल BIS, बायोलॉजिकल इम्यून सिस्टम, कि शारीरिक स्वास्थ्य की देखभाल करो, शारीरिक स्वास्थ्य को बचा के रखो। और इस चक्कर में तो आप जानते हैं कि लोगों ने कितनी तरह की चीजें खा ली कि उनका लिवर भी इफेक्टेड हो गया। सो साइकोलॉजिकल इम्यून सिस्टम क्या है और कैसे काम करता है, ताकि हम इस तरह की सारी परेशानियों से, चाहे वो एंजाइटी हो, चाहे वो अवसाद हो, डिप्रेशन हो, fearfulness हो, इवन अनडिफाइंड इनसिक्योरिटीज भी हो, तो भी हम उनके साथ में फाइट कर सकते हैं। मेंटल हेल्थ और वेलनेस का बड़ा क्लोज रिलेशन है, क्योंकि ये आपके मानसिक स्वास्थ्य की रक्षा के साथ साथ आपको शारीरिक स्वास्थ्य को बनाए रखने में भी मदद करता है। इट इज नॉर्मल टू फील वरी एंड स्ट्रेस ड्यूरिंग अ टाइम ऑफ क्राइसिस। यस, ये भी एक्सेप्टेंस की बात है कि दो दिस इज अ बैड डे एंड इट इज ओके, then realize what can you control, recognize the sign of anxiety and manage anxiety, चाहे उसके लिए आपको एक्सपर्ट की राय भी लेनी पड़े। ये हमारा दुर्भाग्य है कि कई बार हम मानसिक स्वास्थ्य के विषयों की चर्चा नहीं करना चाहते, लेकिन ये आज के समय की आवश्यकता है कि जो मानसिक स्वास्थ्य से संबंधित विषय या इश्यूज, परेशानियां, प्रॉब्लम्स या बीमारियां हमारे सामने हैं, उनको हम अपने बेडरूम से लेकर ड्राइंग रूम और ड्राइंग रूम से लेकर अपने चबूतरे तक उनकी चर्चा करें। और जैसे अस्पताल के सारे डिपार्टमेंट्स में हम जाते हैं, वैसे ही हमको साइकियाट्रिस्ट और साइकोलॉजिकल डिपार्टमेंट में भी जाना होगा, एक्सपर्ट से राय लेनी होगी, ताकि शारीरिक और मानसिक दोनों स्वास्थ्यों की रक्षा बिना किसी सोशल टैबू के की जा सके। थोड़ी सी बात, थोड़े से कंसेप्ट की बात कर लेते हैं कि एंग्जाइटी है क्या। हालांकि आजकल की तारीख में ये कुछ टर्म्स लोगों ने बहुत रेगुलरली यूज करने शुरू कर दिए और कहीं ना कहीं हमारा बर्दाश्त करने की क्षमता, यानी हमारा वो ऑप्टिमल लेवल भी गड़बड़ा चुका है। सो एंजाइटी हैज अ कॉम्प्लिकेटेड रिलेशनशिप विद इम्यून सिस्टम एंड टू मच एंजाइटी कैन एक्चुअली वीकन द इम्यून सिस्टम। ये अंदर से आपको खोखला कर देता है। इट कैन पुट अ स्ट्रेस ऑन द बॉडी विच इज realizes a stress hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is the body's main stress hormone and is somewhat like nature's alarm system. Anxiety does not cause sickness, but when there is a contact with germs, the weakened immune system may struggle to fight them back. यानी कि एंजाइटी आपको कहीं ना कहीं से अंदर से खोखला करके बीमारी की तरफ ले जाती है। फियर स्पेसिफिकली ड्यूरिंग द पैंडेमिक, और एक छोटा सा फियर जो अब आज के तारीख में स्टूडेंट्स के पास है, वो है उनके एग्जाम्स। सो एनीवे, fear weakness our immune system and can cause cardiovascular damage, gastrointestinal problems such as ulcers and irritable bowel syndrome, and decrease fertility also. It can also lead to accelerated aging and even premature deaths, which is a very sad part. Emotions affect our immunity. इमोशन एक ऐसी चीज है जिसमें शारीरिक और मानसिक दोनों स्वास्थ्य इन्वॉल्व होता है। कुछ इस तरह के सर्कुलेशंस होते हैं या डिस्चार्जेस होते हैं ब्रेन के अंदर, जिनकी वजह से बहुत सारी दूसरी चीजें भी फ्लक्चुएट हो जाती हैं। एंड स्टडीज शो दैट नेगेटिव मूड कैन चेंज द इम्यून रिस्पॉन्स फंक्शंस। स्ट्रेस रिड्यूस इम्यूनिटी। Stress, though people are very much talking about stress as a trend. When I talk with corporates, they all say that I am stressed because of stress. पर ये पहचानना पड़ेगा कि एक्चुअली तनाव, दबाव या स्ट्रेस की अलग अलग डिग्रीज क्या हैं। लेकिन ये सत्य है कि स्ट्रेस से हमारी प्रतिरोधक क्षमता इफेक्टेड होती है। When we are stressed, the immune system's ability to fight off एंटीजेंस इज रिड्यूस्ड, जिससे कि हम शरीर की प्रतिरोधक क्षमता, जिससे कि हम बीमारियों और बाकी चीजों से लड़ते हैं, वो कम हो जाती है। दैट इज व्हाई वी आर मोर सस्पेक्टेबल ऑफ टू इन्फेक्शन। द स्ट्रेस हार्मोन कोर्टिसोल कैन सप्रेस द इफेक्टिवनेस ऑफ द इम्यून सिस्टम, विच इज लोअर द नंबर ऑफ लिम्फोसाइट्स। यानी मानसिक और शारीरिक दोनों स्वास्थ्य दोनों तरह से प्रभावित है। आप जानते हैं कि स्ट्रेस की अवस्थाएं में क्या होता है। इट इंक्रीज्ड हार्ट रेट, हीट रेट एंड ब्लड प्रेशर। इट इम्पैक्ट ऑन स्ट्रेस हार्मोन्स, इम्यून प्रोसेसिंग कोर्टिसोल suppress immune system, and it disturbs the digestive system also. यानी digestive system affected हुआ तो brain functions तो होंगे ही होंगे इफेक्टिव। इंक्रीज्ड रिस्क ऑफ डिजीजेस और बीमारियों के बढ़ने का खतरा बढ़ जाता है। Stress is simply a reaction to a stimulus that disturbs our physical or mental equilibrium. A stressful event can trigger the fight or flight response, causing hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol to surge through the body. Stress is a psychological response of the body to external stresses. Research shows the stress decrease the efficacy of immune system. किस तरह से? एक acute stress है that cause an increase in circulating white blood cell, white जो खून के श्वेत रक्त कण होते हैं, and chronic stress when cortisol remains high, however white blood cells numbers are reduced, और white blood cells कम है तो शरीर की लड़ने की क्षमता कम है बीमारियों के साथ। There is a clear link between stress and immune system, that stress suppresses the immune system. There are 3 stages: alarming stage, resistance stage and exhaustion. यानी कि कब आप सावधान हो जाइए, कब आपको केयर की जरूरत है और कब आप उसका इलाज करके आप उससे उसको बचाएं, जो कि बहुत ही ज्यादा अनिवार्य है। अब आइए, ये है आपकी मानसिक स्वास्थ्य की दशा और इतने सारे फैक्टर्स इसमें एक साथ काम करते हैं। यानी एक ऐसी मशीन जो ईश्वर ने हमें दी है, वी ह्यूमन आर ब्लेस्ड विद दिस मशीन, और जिसकी हम देखभाल नहीं करते, जिसका कोई रिप्लेसमेंट नहीं है, उसको हम ध्यान भी नहीं देते हैं। अब बात करती हूँ साइकोलॉजिकल इम्यून सिस्टम। इतनी देर से जो कंसेप्ट्स की हम बात कर रहे थे उसमें आपने देखा कि शारीरिक और मानसिक दोनों स्वास्थ्य किस तरह से प्रभावित है और कितना ज्यादा psychological immune system से जुड़ा हुआ है। If formally we define, the psychological immune system is defined as an integrated system of cognitive, motivational and behavior personality dimensions that should provide immunity against stress, promote healthy development and serve as stress resistance resources or psychological antibodies. Yes, there are some psychological antibodies. I will explain how they work. Psychological immune system is defined as integrated system of cognitive, motivational and behavioral aspects. यानी तीनों aspects को लेके चलना. The psychological immune system protects the body from the toxins generated from constant यानी लगातार worry, nervous tension and anxieties. Psychological antibodies have to be developed while protecting mental health from factors like stress, anxiety and uncontrolled emotions. उनको हम डेवलप करके उनको बचा भी सकते हैं। In human body, 2 types of immune system: first line defense and second line defense. Both systems work together to prevent foreign organisms to enter and destroy them even if they enter. अगर वो आपके शरीर में प्रवेश भी कर गए हैं तब भी आप उनसे फाइट करके लड़ सकते हैं। So the psychological immune system transforms the situation of depressing failure into a glorious opportunity, and it does this by making us believe that our new situation is better and our old situation worse, creating a silver lining so thick as to be irreparable. साइकोलॉजिकल इम्यून सिस्टम कैसे काम करता है? सबसे पहले ये वो काम करता है कि जितने भी मनोवैज्ञानिक कारण हैं जिनके कारण आपका मानसिक स्वास्थ्य खराब हो रहा है, या तो किसी भी तरह के डिसऑर्डर डेवलप हो रहे हैं, या कोई किसी की तरह के इश्यूज आ रहे हैं, या कोई समस्याएं आ रही हैं, या कोई बीमारियां डेवलप हो जा रही हैं, तो अगर हमारे पास में एक अच्छा साइकोलॉजिकल इम्यून सिस्टम, एक मनोवैज्ञानिक प्रतिरोधक क्षमता है, तो हम किसी भी तरह के स्ट्रेस, एंजाइटी, फियर या इनसिक्योरिटी, डिप्रेशन, इनसे फाइट कर सकते हैं और अपने मानसिक स्वास्थ्य की रक्षा कर सकते हैं। लेकिन इसका एक और पहलू भी है कि अगर आपके पास में एक अच्छा मनोवैज्ञानिक प्रतिरोधक क्षमता है तो इतने सारे जो मनोवैज्ञानिक कारण और उनके दुष्प्रभाव होते हैं, उनके वजह से जो भी शारीरिक स्वास्थ्य खराब होता है, अगर अच्छा साइकोलॉजिकल इम्यून सिस्टम है तो वहां पर वो शारीरिक स्वास्थ्य की भी रक्षा करता है। यानी हमारी बहुत सारी डिजीजेस हम जानते हैं जो साइकोसोमैटिक होते हैं। बहुत सारी ऐसी परेशानियां, बीमारियां, डिसऑर्डर्स, उलझने होती हैं जिनमें कारण तो मनोवैज्ञानिक होते हैं, लेकिन उनका दुष्प्रभाव शरीर पर पड़ता है, शारीरिक स्वास्थ्य पर पड़ता है। तो अगर हमारे पास में एक अच्छा मनोवैज्ञानिक प्रतिरोधक क्षमता है, यानी एक अच्छा साइकोलॉजिकल इम्यून सिस्टम डेवलप किया है, हमने उसको मेंटेन किया है, तो मानसिक और शारीरिक दोनों स्वास्थ्य की रक्षा करता है। Being a mental health professional, I always emphasize about mental health and psychological immune system. बट जरूरी ये है कि इसको उपयोगिता को भी समझें और कैसे एक अच्छा साइकोलॉजिकल इम्यून सिस्टम बना के चले, इसको भी समझना बहुत जरूरी है। इंटरपर्सनल रिलेशनशिप एंड इम्यूनिटीज, ये कुछ छोटी छोटी सी टॉनिक्स हैं। There is the good evidence that interpersonal relationship have health related consequences because man is a social animal, और ये संभव नहीं है कि आप आपस के रिश्तों को बनाकर ना चलें। कैसे बनाएंगे? क्योंकि आज के समय में बहुत सारे दूसरे कारण भी आ जाते हैं, तो उसके लिए एक टूल है, एक उपाय है, एक अस्त्र है, वो है रेजिलियंस। It is the capacity of individuals to respond positively even after having experienced a situation of stress, such as trauma, diseases, and other adversities, and also learn to come out of these events stronger than they were before. Resilience had a close relationship with mental health. अगर हमारे अंदर ये क्षमता डेवलप हो जाए, एक फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी डेवलप हो जाए, एक रेजिलियंस डेवलप हो जाए, तो हम बहुत सारा मानसिक स्वास्थ्य बचा भी सकते हैं, उसको स्ट्रेंथन भी कर सकते हैं, और उसको से होने वाले शारीरिक बीमारियों से भी हम बच सकते हैं। रेजिलियंस सीखना, समझना, अपनाना सब कुछ जरूरी है। छोटी सी बात, गोल सेटिंग विद रियलिस्टिक एक्सपेक्टेशन। प्रॉब्लम क्या होती है? कोई भी पेरेंट अगर बच्चे से एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं तो क्या पेरेंट गलत है? नहीं। बट अगर उनकी एक्सपेक्टेशन विदाउट जजिंग द चाइल्ड्स एक्चुअल कैपेबिलिटी होगी तो प्रॉब्लम आती है। सेल्फ स्टीम को बना के रखिए, अपनी गलतियों से सीखिए, अंडरस्टैंड एंड एक्सेप्टेंस ऑफ देयर ओन स्ट्रेंथ एंड वीकनेसेस। प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल डेवलप करने होंगे, एबिलिटी टू रिकॉग्नाइज देयर ओन इमोशंस एंड दोज ऑफ अदर्स, यानी इम्पैथी, अपने आप को दूसरे की जगह रख के देखिए। सोशल स्किल्स एंड एबिलिटी टू सीक असिस्टेंस फ्रॉम अदर्स, ऑप्टिमिस्टिक थिंकिंग पैटर्न्स। पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग कोई एक शब्द नहीं है, पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग एक अप्रोच है, एक एटीट्यूड है जो बहुत आसानी से डेवलप हो जाता है, एक नजरिया है जिसको हमें अपना के चलना पड़ता है। सेल्फ कंट्रोल, यानी हर चीज, ये स्टूडेंट्स के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि हर चीज हैशटैग नहीं है, अंडरलाइन नहीं है, बोल्ड नहीं है, इन्वर्टेड कॉमा मत लगाओ। हर चीज हमारे लिए एक अलग अलग वैल्यू की है, एक अलग इंपॉर्टेंस की है। हर बात की एक वैल्यू होती है, जैसे हम हर सामान की एक वैल्यू करते हैं, और उसी के हिसाब से चलेंगे तो हम रेजिलियंस को आसानी से डेवलप कर सकते हैं। विलिंगनेस टू ओवरकम डिफिकल्टीज रादर देन अवॉइड प्रॉब्लम्स। परेशानियों से बचना नहीं है, परेशानियों से लड़ना है, और कोशिश करनी है कि पॉजिटिव एटीट्यूड के साथ में उनको सॉल्व किया जा सके। So PIS is a capacity to deal with conflicting emotions. It is an ability to experience pleasure without conflict, to be flexible and to adopt and to adjust a changing environment is important as we develop PIS. PIS is strength of character. PIS is capacity to live without fear, guilt, and anxiety. PIS is to take responsibility to one's own action, and PIS is to discriminate between good and bad and between good versus better. तो स्टूडेंट्स को अगर कुछ भी इस बारे में आगे पूछना हो तो अभी या बाद में वो पूछ सकते हैं कि कैसे हम साइकोलॉजिकल इम्यून सिस्टम डेवलप करें और एक स्वस्थ जीवन की तरफ चलें, क्योंकि अगर वेलनेस या वेलबीइंग नहीं है तो कुछ नहीं है। जनरल टिप है कि आप किस तरह से सेल्फ मैनेजमेंट करें, अपने शारीरिक और मानसिक स्वास्थ्य की रक्षा करें, यहाँ जो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज आ जाती है वो लास्ट वाला पॉइंट है, टेक रेगुलर सोशल मीडिया ब्रेक्स फॉर योर मेंटल हेल्थ, कि हम कितना इस्तेमाल करें और किस तरह से हम अपने मानसिक स्वास्थ्य की रक्षा भी करें। सो कुछ छोटे से इंस्टेंट बात कि अगर आपको किसी भी तरह की दिक्कत महसूस हो रही तो आप क्या करें, रीड सम ग्रीन्स, रीड अ पेज ऑफ इंस्पायरिंग बुक, hug someone, take a bath, make art, go outside for 5 minutes, write a thank you card and crazy dance for 5 minutes, फिजिकल ऐसी एक्टिविटी। और बस एक अच्छा साइकोलॉजिकल इम्यून सिस्टम लेके चलिए ताकि आपका शारीरिक और मानसिक दोनों स्वास्थ्य की रक्षा हो चुके। Best wishes for building psychological immunity and a good, healthy well-being for everyone. And it's very easy to develop these concepts, and it's very easy to understand all these concepts. Thank you so very much. I would like to stop my sharing screen, and I'm very much open to you all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kumud Srivastav, ma'am. You spoke some of the very beautiful things during the session, that positive thinking is not just a word, it's not just a thing, it is the way of living the life. आपकी बातों को सुनकर मैम ये बिल्कुल ऐसा लगता है कि अगर इंसान सिर्फ और सिर्फ अपनी साइकोलॉजिकल इम्यून सिस्टम को डेवलप करने की कोशिश करे, व्हाट अ ब्यूटीफुल सेकंड लास्ट स्लाइड यू हैड शोन दैट यू हग समवन, यू मेक पेंटिंग। अगर ये सारी चीजें अगर कोई इंसान इम्प्लीमेंट करता है तो आई थिंक फिलहाल जो वॉर की सिचुएशन है, ऐसी कोई सिचुएशन की नौबत ही नहीं आती। जिस तरह से ग्लोबल क्राइसिस हो रहे हैं, दैट रशिया एंड यूक्रेन आर सफरिंग अ लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम, तो अगर साइकोलॉजिकल इम्यून सिस्टम उनकी थोड़ी भी स्ट्रांग हो तो देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी कि पीपल वुड लव टुगेदर एंड दे विल स्टे टुगेदर। So it was a great message from your side, and this was the thing. अगर कोई implement करता है तो he will start his journey towards living the life very happily. He can make the society happy as well. So thank you so much,
और मैं तो स्टूडेंट्स को ये बोलना चाहूंगी कि इन सारी चीजों पे इतनी सारी दूर तक की सोचने की जरूरत ही नहीं है। सिंपली 1 वीक का एक्सपेरिमेंट करके देखो कि क्या इफेक्टिविटी आती है।
यस,
क्योंकि जिंदगी तो बेमिसाल है और उबड़ खाबड़ रास्ते तो उसमें हमेशा होंगे।
बहुत अच्छी बात है, सही है आपकी बात। थैंक यू सो मच मैम फॉर योर
थैंक यू सो वेरी मच।
थैंक यू सो मच।
Good day.
Okay, thank you. So now moving forward towards the next participant of this conference, I would like to introduce the research delegate, the expert person, Dr. Paresh B. Joshi. And I would like to introduce him. He is a professor and Department of English at Veer Narmad South Gujarat University, Surat. He has an experience of more than 19 years in teaching field. If we talk about his work in various fields, so I would like to tell that he has written 11 books and he has published more than 20 research papers in national and international conferences. Now, if we talk about his areas of specialization, so his areas of specializations are in English literature, applied linguistics with special reference to phonetics, English language teaching, folk literature, and soft skills, among others. And he is recognized a PhD guide with Veer Narmad University, Gujarat. And 7 students have already completed their doctoral program under his supervision and guidance, and 4 students are pursuing their PhD. Apart from this, he gives his services as a PhD referee, a subject expert in interviews, and scrutiny committees to various universities of India. So once again, we have a very expert and legendary person who is having a vast knowledge in the field of research. So I would like to request Dr. Paresh Joshi sir to address the students and enlighten their ways in the field of research with reference to your words. Dr. Paresh Joshi sir.
Well, thank you very much for those kind words. I think I would begin what I have to say by congratulating the team Gopinathji Mahila Arts and Commerce College for putting together a wonderful multidisciplinary conference, on recent innovations and recent trends in humanities and commerce. I think I would begin with a sense of gratitude to a very good friend. We have had a long-standing association, I must say. I would thank Dr. Dilip Joshi for the opportunity. And if today I bother you too much, and if you don't enjoy these 20-25 minutes of my interaction, it is he whom you need to blame. It's so if you have to throw tomatoes and stones, I don't know how we will do it on an online platform, but the responsibility is entirely his. So this is his misadventure that he would have invited me for a conversation like this. All right, I think we don't really have too much of time. We are already running late, as I was scheduled to speak 11:30, and this is already going to be 12. Anyways, when I looked at, I could also see that there's a whole galaxy of intellectuals who delivered their interesting, keynotes on range of topic. I was listening to Madam who spoke on psychological well-being, which I believe is one of the current priorities. Well, since I am a student of literature, a student of English literature, I would choose to speak on Indianness in research in humanities. My focus is how we can become Indian in our research. National Education Policy 2020 has opened our eyes to the Indian realities. When we look at national education policy, it is an indigenous education system. It proposes a whole spectrum of reforms which are Indian in nature, and therefore it is pertinent to talk about Indianness in research. And as I said, I'll be brief. I know I have 20 to 25 minutes, but this is what I have chosen to discuss with the young scholars who would be listening to me. Now, why would a discourse like this become a keynote address for a multidisciplinary conference like this? Is because, when you look at the provisions in the national education policy, these provisions, the sum total of all, the insistence on mother tongues in primary, there's a lot of focus, there's a lot of emphasis on multidisciplinarity. There's a lot of focus on holistic education, experiential learning. I would say that maybe if you carefully read between the lines in the provisions of National Education Policy 2020, they singularly indicate at the Gurukul system. Primarily Gurukuls were meant to be the centers of learning of all branches. So they were multidisciplinary in nature. If you think of Gurukul where the Pandavas went and learned. So they were not just taught archery and, they were not just taught the war tactics. They were given knowledge, they were given training in every aspect of human existence. So politics was one of the subjects taught, morals and ethics, the ways of living, commerce and economics, because then, when you study the entire... So, when we talk of a national education policy, and we have made all provisions, the universities are working day and night to work out a blueprint. Fortunately, I was involved in creating a blueprint for implementation of national education policy. Since I'm associated with Bharatiya Shikshan Mandal. And it was pleasure working on that blueprint. And when we were working on the blueprint, there was a realization which was growing in me. And, when I was reflecting upon what I would speak to the participating scholars in this particular conference, I thought there's nothing better than talking about Indian knowledge system. Primarily, my focus would be how to integrate Indian knowledge system and the research that we do in humanities. It could mean, since we are multidisciplinary and since I believe the audience from commerce is also listening to me, I'm assuming that. When I discuss Indian knowledge system and certain ethos, and how it can be integrated in research, I think this would automatically apply to commerce, because our knowledge system has, contemplated upon every aspect of human life. So I would share my presentation with this opening. Can you see this presentation, friends?
No, sir. It is not visible on the screen.
Not yet. All right. Let me...
Yes, sir. Now the screen is visible and we can move on.
All right. Let's proceed. Indian knowledge system, language, arts and culture. Primarily, I'll be talking about Indian knowledge system and its integration in, research which takes place in humanities. When we talk of research, primarily, we more focused at Western models. Majority of our citations come from the theories that we apply are majority of the times, when you talk of feminism, for example, when you talk of eco-criticism, when you talk of any other aspect, comparative literature, a lot of research is now moving towards subaltern, for example, Dalit discourses, LGBT discourses. When you look at your second chapter, the review of related literature, majority of our theoretical framework that we put in the first and the review, our theoretical framework largely depends on the Western models, the Western theories. And, the question that we then need to ask is, if you quote somebody who is talking about Western realities, is it justified to use those statements to justify the Eastern realities? It creates a fundamental question, as if, what is right for West or what is observed in the context of West, is it justified in the context of East, and then in the context of India? In the context of India, which is so very unique a country, It is multilingual, multicultural. So Indianness is so layered that maybe Western countries which are monolingual, they're culturally not as diverse as we are. I'm afraid, we will not be in a position to justify the Eastern realities. Let's quickly have a good look at what do I exactly mean when I say Indian knowledge system. We have had civilizations. Look at this. I mean, in this few lakh years of evolutionary history of mankind, there have been, civilizations like India, which I'm talking about right now, Mesopotamia, Egypt, Rome, Greece, Persia, Maya. Of these civilizations, tell me how many of have survived the test of time? And I think as Indians, we need to be proud of the fact that we still are a civilization which is surviving. We have seen all kinds of odds. We were invaded, from almost every ethnic group on this planet. British being the biggest beneficiaries of the Indian reaches. So, one needs to sit down and wonder as to which ancient civilization, Maya, Persian, Greek, Roman, Egyptian, and Mesopotamian civilizations are buried now. They don't exist. Only traces of them are visible somewhere in the museum. So then I think, we need to start looking at India with a lot of respect because it is a civilization which is surviving today. I think all the scholars who are listening to me from humanities and even from, say, non-humanities background like commerce, I would very earnestly request all of you to read a scholar, Professor Kapil Kapoor, and his work on Indian knowledge system is outstanding, And when I remember Professor Kapil Kapoor, how can I forget my own mentor, my own teacher, and a scholar of international repute, late Professor Avdesh Kumar Singh. I find it very difficult to use this word late. He's no more with us. But even his work on Indian knowledge system is outstanding. Let's see what Professor Kapoor has to say. He says, Indian civilization has always attached great value to knowledge. I mean, this is not a breaking news. We've all known this, that we have been a civilization which has worshipped knowledge. We say Tamasoma Jyotirgamya. We have always celebrated the light. We have always celebrated the light of knowledge. So Indian civilization has always attached great value to knowledge. Witness its amazingly large body of intellectual texts. And I want everyone to underline this phrase, intellectual texts. Majority of the civilizations have their knowledge systems. But when you look at it, majority of them are not intellectual texts. They are very theological discourses. Majority of time, stuffed with a lot of religious dogmas, and they sound more theological in nature, and they're value texts. When I talk of Indian knowledge system and the greatness of it, I am nowhere trying to degrade the knowledge system or even Western knowledge system. With due respect, I've studied it as a student of Indian literature, right from Plato to Derrida, and then say new historicism and the present critics. I've studied them out and I've revered them. But I was more fascinated, and my gaze towards Indian knowledge system became a little more inquisitive and curious when I was doing my MPhil. And it is tragic that in my MPhil syllabus around 2007 and 6, I don't exactly remember the year, I for the first time studied the Indian poetics, right from Bharut Muni's Natya Shastra to the Alankar school to Vakrokti school to Riti school. And I was sitting and wondering that it took me about 22, 23, 24, 25 years to be acquainted with this great body of knowledge, which can stand at power and at times can be much more contemplative theories of literary creation, theories of literature. So intellectual text is something that each one of us, I wish that each one of us take a note of it. Amazingly large body of intellectual texts, the world's largest collection of manuscripts. Its attested tradition of texts, thinkers, and school in so many domains of knowledge. So this is Professor Kapoor's take that Indian knowledge system is encompassing intellectual texts, the world's largest collection of manuscripts. It is the attested tradition of text, thinkers, and schools in so many domains of knowledge. It was not just theology, friends. It was probably every aspect of human existence, every branch of knowledge that we can think of. And not forgetting the celebration of arts. I will come to that as I move on, but this is just the opening comment. India's, again, Professor Kapoor, I think this is a book that each one of us should very carefully read if we want to reorient our intellectual compass into Indian knowledge system. India's knowledge tradition is ancient and uninterrupted, like flow of the river Ganga. Now, this is, again, by definition, a tradition is an uninterrupted, evolutionary trajectory of knowledge. So, in order for something to become a tradition, it has to have few thousand years of uninterrupted evolution. And in that sense, probably India alone as a country can bag of traditions, because tradition is too loaded a word. If something began 10 years back and then you're looking at it from the hindsight and say that we've been having a tradition of having this, 10 years old evolution of any concept is not a tradition. So Indian knowledge tradition is ancient and uninterrupted, like flow of river Ganga from Vedas. Now look at this. From Vedas to Sri Aurobindo, knowledge or jnana has been the center of all rational, speculative inquiry in India. We believe that Vedas date back as back in the past as about 6,000 years. And, it was such a huge body of pragmatic knowledge. As I said, when you look at Vedas, they are not theological texts. Please look at them as knowledge texts. Please look at them as intellectual texts. Vedas are not dharma granth. Vedas are the reservoir of the contemplation of thousands of years of those sages, rishis. So when I say, just don't look at it as theological dharma granth. Dharma is also a bigger phenomenon. But, this is something that we need to understand. That India has been having an uninterrupted, longest of all traditions that have survived. In the first slide, I was talking about ancient civilizations. Tradition versus systems. Traditions, as I defined, they are uninterrupted through centuries. And for something to qualify as a tradition, we are talking about Indian knowledge system. And why we're not talking about Indian knowledge tradition? I mean, it's pretty much an Indian knowledge tradition. But when they, that would mean traditions, when they are documented, they become systems. So when uninterrupted knowledge traditions, when they are well documented, they become systems. Traditions have not changed for thousands of years. They may be documented, they may not be. Vedic civilization is an example. But systems, when they are documented, they become. When traditions are documented, they are systematized, they become shastras. All of us are aware of the fact that when we talk of Indian knowledge system, it begins with Vedas, about 7,000, dating back to 7,000 BCE to 500 BCE. Brahmanas, which are commentaries, Upanishads, which are philosophy, Vedantas, later commentaries, Itihasa, for example, Ramayana and Mahabharata, Puranas, the historic texts. Well, I'm not here to speak on what is Veda. We know it. And if you don't know it, I request you go and start educating yourself about Vedas. Because for another few minutes, I'm going to focus on, we have in fact begun the process of what is known as decolonizing the Indian mind. Decolonization has been, one of the academic disciplines, and we've been having a lot of discourses on that. But I believe that decolonization would be complete, would be accelerated if we start being Indian in our research. And therefore, as I said, I've titled this talk as Indianness in research. I mean, we are all aware of the contribution of Rishi Veda Vyasa. Vedas was such a huge body of knowledge that it needed to be systematized. It systematizes that huge body of knowledge, which was the result of the churning of the contemplating sages, who gave away their entire lives just sitting and reflecting on certain mysteries of human life, and they became one with the divine, and that divinity gave. We say the Vedas are the voice of God. And that wisdom then gets documented into Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Sam, and then, later on, the Vedic knowledge was so intellectual in nature that Puranas needed to be formed. This wisdom, which was not everyone's cup of tea. Not everyone could comprehend those highly pragmatic ideas. They were presented in the story form. So we quickly have a look at it. I feel many of you would know it. Rig Vedas is primarily Hindu hymns about various gods, scientific revelation and reference to historic events. Yajur is a sacrificial knowledge, the offerings to the god, the sacrifices, not in the way we perceive them today. Sama is about music and arts. Look at this. As I said, these texts are not just theological texts, they are knowledge texts. And Atharva, for example, is having very rich knowledge of medicine, magic, and sorcery. In 2011 census, there's a list of 121 different mother tongues spoken by Indians. This is the diversity. 14 of these languages have at least 10 billion speakers. Just imagine. This is more than the population of many European countries. So we have language societies. I'm saying language societies which are bigger than the states, the nations. Each language then offers its own knowledge system. So I think this session is more focused at sensitizing this aspiring research scholars towards turning their gaze to this rich knowledge system and use that knowledge in the research. It's like there's no point exalting and celebrating the greatness of Indian knowledge system. As long as it is not finding its application in the current research, it would remain as the knowledge, an encyclopedic knowledge, encyclopedic great knowledge, which doesn't have an application. So when you look at Indian culture, these are some of the facts. You can differ, but we're probably the most tolerant and accommodating and welcoming culture. We believe in Ano Bhadra Kratvo Santu. Let the knowledge, let the good ideas from all direction come to me. We are a culture of sam gachadvam, sam vadadvam, sam vomanansi janta. We are a culture of sahana vavatu, sahano bunaktu, sarvidam karvavade. So, we're tolerant, we're accommodating, we are welcoming, we're diverse, we provide the most respecting, we're the most vibrant, compassionate culture, which believes in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. I mean, when I'm talking of Indian knowledge system, I need to just quickly have a reference to and say the diversity and greatness of Indian arts. Be it music, painting, dancing, and look at the kind of dancing and the dance forms in music, for example. We talk of gharanas. I think I have another 10 minutes. The organizers, do I have 10 minutes more?
Yes, sir, you have, and you can continue with the same content that you have, because it's our privilege to have an expert person like you, and so continue, sir, you can.
All right. Okay. I should not be occupying the valuable time, because it is. I personally believe that if I speak more than the time given, I'm leaving you in a spot of bother, because then you need to accommodate your timetable. But I would take another 10 minutes and then we would close this discussion. I want to reflect a bit on cultural imperialism. Imperialism was not just a political trick of British. It had a very larger subplot, if you call it, or a hidden design. There is no doubt about the fact that we were robbed of our riches. If you hear colonial debate by Shashi Tharoor, he says that when British came to India, our contribution to the world's GDP, global trade, was about 27%. And when British left India, it was merely reduced to 3%, from 27% share in the global trade. We were reduced to just 3%. Imagine the kind of loot we are a victim of. But unfortunately, we just experienced those tangible riches with which we were robbed. None of us have seriously contemplated on the cultural robbery, a hidden agenda, a very covert kind of an operation. So I think this citation of the minutes of Lord Macaulay is often discussed. You may have heard of it. If you've not, just read with me. I've traveled across the length and breadth of India, and I have not seen one person who is a beggar, who is a thief. Such wealth I have seen in this country, such high moral values, people of such caliber, that I do not think we would ever conquer this country unless we break the very backbone of this nation, which is her spiritual and cultural heritage. And therefore I propose that we replace her old ancient education system, her culture. For if the Indians think that all that is foreign and English is good and greater than their own, they will lose their self-esteem, their native culture, and they'll become one well-planned and thought-out conspiracy. Macaulay, when he was introducing education, English education in India, he was hitting two birds with one marble. One, he was, in one or the other way, was destroying the existing, gurukuls, for example. In Kadambari, if you see, there is a mention of 66 Vidyas, and that, Kadambari's passage finds expression in national education policy. The concept of liberal arts, is entirely an Indian concept. So those gurukuls, as I said at the beginning, were the centers of knowledge, and they were multidisciplinary in nature. Charles Wilkins, he turned their gaze to Sanskrit. Now, Charles Wilkins was a Western scholar who translated Srimad Bhagavad Gita into English, and then many English texts. And then I wish that you read with me a few lines at the bottom of this article. Sir Charles Wilkins, a pioneer Orientalist, one of the British triumvirate with William Jones and James Princeton, was a pioneer in the study of Sanskrit, and his first ever translation of Bhagavad Gita into English opened up the new vistas in translation into several languages, European languages. So this William James, for example, is someone who translates Abhigyan Shakuntal into English, and Goethe reads that translation, puts the text on his head and dances. makes the proclamation that he has not read a literature of this kind. What happens here, friend, is the fabric of cultural imperialism lies in the fact that these Western scholars like Charles Wilkins, William Jones, and others picked up the most influential knowledge texts from Indian heritage, translated it in English, and then, an era of enlightenment dawned in Europe. And there is sufficient evidence to prove the fact that a lot of present Western theories are based on the Indian knowledge system. And I, being the student of linguistics, can give you a classical example of how Chomsky, for example, how Ferdinand de Saussure have based their linguistic models on Rishi Panini's Ashtadhyayi. Both Chomsky and the Saussure have studied Rishi Panini's Ashtadhyayi in detail and have conceived their linguistic theories. And there are endless such examples. Now, irony is, none of us study Ashtadhyayi, but we study Chomsky, we study Ferdinand de Saussure. The irony is, as the students of humanities, irrespective of what language you belong, we don't, many of us are not aware of Indian poetics, but, we study poetics by Aristotle. Now, with the shortage of time, the point that I'm trying to make, friends, here is I will give you an example of something outstanding that, we can speak for hours on cultural imperialism, but I wish you have your own reading on cultural imperialism and decolonizing Indian mind. And Professor Kapoor's writings are the best example of that. Towards conclusion, which I'll bring in 2-3 minutes, what I want to tell all my aspiring research scholars is that try and equate yourself with the great Indian knowledge texts and find a way to, cite them, find a way to do research on them. For example, I'm very happy that a lot of researchers are taking Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra to evaluate a lot of contemporary text. Rasa theory, for example. But there is hardly any research on Vakrokti by Kunta. And if you have studied Russian formalism takes birth from the Vakrokti school by Kunta. What do the Russian formalists believe? Russian formalists believe that, art lies in defamiliarizing. When you make something very obvious defamiliar, when you make known, commonplace, unknown, the more defamiliarized you can make, more pleasing the artistic experience. Now, Vakrokti is precisely the wisdom which was dawned upon by Kunta. Vakrokti means Vakra Ukti, crooked expression, an indirect expression. The Russian formalist defamiliarization is saying something direct into indirect. All of us see a red rose. We look at it and we say it's beautiful. That is a commonplace expression. But a poet would say, my love is like red rose that's newly sprung in June. He has made the looking at a red rose, which is a very commonplace experience, into a defamiliarized experience. Kuntak says, When you use crooked, indirect expression, you have the genesis of art there. So when someone is not speaking, we say, why don't you say something? Why are you silent? Say something, speak. How about saying, unbutton your lips? Now, when you say that, you have said indirectly that open your lips. Now, that indirectness is where lies the secret of all literary art. When someone is speaking a lot, you say, shut up. But how about saying, zip your lips? Now, when you say zip your lips, you have made it defamiliar. So why can't we apply kuntaks, vakrokti on texts? The retelling of the myth has become very popular domain in the research. But, retelling is the contemporary research. We can look at these texts in their originality, in their translation forms. GTU made a breakthrough decision, and carefully listen, what have they done is, when you do any research, the second chapter, review of literature, we do review of literature, but they have mandated one review of literature which is based on Indian knowledge system. So you'll have to have two reviews of literature. One review of literature considering the Western and Eastern ideas, but one specific review on the Indian knowledge system. So I think that's probably all that I want to say. In conclusion, I would say that the scholars should look at celebrating Indian knowledge and Indian knowledge texts. And if we manage to make our research Indian in nature, we will be making those great ideas more relevant, more functional in today's world. So that's all from my side. We can conclude the session. Obviously, there is no time for question and answer, but you can always interact with me whenever next opportunity arises. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for patient hearing.
Thank you very much, Dr. Paresh Joshi, sir. One thing that I would like to share my experience while I was listening to you, I was getting some of the messages from Dr. Anup Srivastav, ma'am, that you have presented an excellent presentation. And
Okay.
so far as my experience is concerned, I loved the way you spoke. Your voice tone was amazing. And I was feeling like the way a child holds his father's hand and he moves slowly and steadily with his father. In the same way, I was floating together with your session, and
Thank
not
you.
only
Thank
your
you.
words, that I was able to listen not only the words but the silence of your between the words too during your presentation. So, sir, it was our privilege to listen you so carefully, and you made us realize about the great wealth that India has. I mean, you said that more than 14 languages are there, and which are spoken by more than 1 crore people. I mean, that is fantastic. And while I was listening to you, and I recalled the American activist that Martin Luther King was once said. He said that while I was roaming around the world, I visited all the countries as a tourist. But when I came to India, I visited India as a pilgrim. And having heard through your session, I realized that actually we should have a bliss and we should focus on the literatures, the ancient wealth that we have, and we should enlighten the same thing in the near future. So thanks a lot, Paresh sir, and it was a great from your side, and it was great from our side too to have you as a person. Now, the last but not the least, it is very painful for me while I'm saying the last speaker because it is going on very smoothly, and we are getting so much of wealth of knowledge, but because the time is limited. So now moving forward with the conference, next next expert I would like to introduce, and her name is Dr. Neha Paliwal. Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon. And I feel so sorry that we are running somewhat late by time because of technical issues. But let me introduce you. She is an assistant professor in Department of Economics, UCSSH, MLSU, Udaipur, Rajasthan. And her educational qualifications are she has done her PhD, she is net qualified, and she is an MPhil too in economics. And if we talk about her extra works and research work, she has published 3 books, and she has chapters in the books in 6 books, and she has presented research papers in various journals. More than 25 research papers have been published by her, and 4 popular magazines have been introduced by her. She is co-author and background paper on now, and the things that I'm going to tell, it is most exciting for me that she has co-authored a paper on promotion of tourism in India for Pakistan India legislators and public officials dialogue on sharing of experiences on governance and democracy at Lahore, Karachi. And this research paper was published by Pakistan Institute of Legislative Development and Transparency. Pakistan conferences and seminars attended, and she has presented more than 50 research papers. Continuing with the same about her achievements in the life, if we talk about her workshops and training, so she has conducted and attended more than 50 workshops, training programs. If we talk about her area of specialization, is international economics, microeconomics and economic theories, research methodology, and quantitative techniques, mathematical economics. And she has been honored with various awards like Maharaja Fateh Singh Award, ONGC Award for the Best Paper, Oral Best Participation Award, Young Economist Award in 104th Annual Conference. So there is a long list of our achievements, and we are so pleased to hear you, ma'am, and to have you on this virtual aspect. So now I would like to request Dr. Neha Paliwal to share her experiences and knowledge with the participants.
Thank you, Dr. Himanshu. At the outset, I want to congratulate the Gopinath Mahila College for organizing such a wonderful conference. And I want to thank the organizing team, especially Dr. Dilip Joshi sir, for inviting me, and I really enjoyed being part of this conference. Now I want to talk about the international trade trends and trends in the global market. It is very difficult for me after 2.5 hours that to make the people understand and taking them from the literary and spiritual world to the world of economics. I welcome you all in the world of economics, and as you have heard that I am a person of quantitative economics, a lot of data we have to discuss, but I try to make it very interesting with the help of the graphs. I'm sharing my window, my PPT. Just hope it will be visible.
Yes, ma'am, it is visible, and you can move on with the same.
Okay. So we are talking about the changing trends of international trade. Here we want to seek what the trends are going on in the global market and where the India stands and what we have to gain more or to move ahead. This is much more important, where we are going and where should we have to be. You can look at the trends in merchandise trade. We all know that due to COVID-19 in 2020, all the countries, all the regions of the world are slumped down. But you can see here, Asia has a little bit better than the other countries, because we have exports, many commodities, and as well as consumer goods, but medical goods also towards the world, and that is, the Asia is far better than the other countries. But the question arises, is this the scenario only due to the COVID that our merchandise trade has been experiencing fluctuations? So you should have to look at this graph also. You can see here the goods and service trade. You can see a deep slump in 2009. We all know that Lehman Brothers crisis was there, and due to that, not only services but the goods trade has also been decreased. In 2015-16, you are also looking here at a big slump, not more than the crisis of 2009, but that was also a magnificent slump in the trade of goods and services due to the fuel price down. Due to that, demand is also going down and the prices were very less. And so we have seen that recession type of condition. In 2020, we all know that due to the COVID-19, the trade has declined a lot. But if we look at the trend according to the commodity type, you can see here that fuel and mining, manufacturing, they have very much fluctuating trend from 2010 to 20. But look at the agricultural commodities. And you will be wondered that agriculture has registered a positive trend, 0.1 maybe, but it's a positive trend in 2020. And India, we all know that is a agrarian economy, and we should think about that. By producing agriculture, can we lead the world? If we look at the world exports of manufacturing other goods, then we can see here that overall the manufacturing goods has registered a negative change of minus 5.2%, but some goods like textiles and office and telecom equipments and has registered a positive growth. World merchandise trade of medical goods, if we look at in 2019 and 20, we all know that due to this pandemic situation, the medical equipments, medical supplies, medicines, they have a huge growth, and personal protective products has registered a 47.2% growth. If we look at the commercial services from last 12 years, we can see the same thing as I have already explained. In 2008-9, they registered approximately 29% decline in the trade. And the most decline is registered in 2020 in travel services. Due to, we know that lockdown and other restrictions, all this happens. If we look at the commercial service exports by the subsector, here, what we can see is financial services, computer services, insurance and pension services has registered a positive growth. Why I'm making all these figures known to you? Because from this scenario, we will be identify what sectors are there in which India can have a potential. If we look at the commercial services by subgroups, we can look at this figure. Other commercial services has a higher percentage in 2020, even though all the services are declining. But the other commercial services, which includes the telecommunication services, computer services, it has a larger proportion and a larger share in the services. If you look at the country's growth, you can look at here from 2009 to 19, how the countries have grown in the merchandise trade. And you will be wondered that where the countries which are far behind us, like Vietnam, Philippines, have registered a very high growth in merchandise trade. You can see here a blue line straight forward, positively sloped from 39 to 23, and India is facing competition from these countries. India has improved its rank from 18 to 15, and Other country like Malaysia has also registered a positive growth. Thailand is as it is, and Philippines also registered a very good growth. If we look at the commercial services, India stands at 10 in 2019, but again, Vietnam, Philippines, Indonesia, Thailand, they are improving at a very faster pace, and if they all are our competitors, and if we have to compete with them, some new strategies are required. If we look at the merchandise exports by region from 15 to 21, again, I'll say that Asia is far better than the other countries in this pandemic situation. These are the conditions of imports and says the same thing. If you look at the cumulative merchandise exports of selected countries or economies, you will find India at the last. These are the figures of January to April 2021, and they are saying that in merchandise exports, our percentage increase is only 8%, whereas you can look at here the other countries like Turkey, Korea, Macedonia, Paraguay, even Taiwan, Chinese Taipei, and Vietnam, you can look at them at the second and third position. So this is the alarming, these are the alarms which we have to catch and work accordingly. If we look at the commercial services, India is doing better. We can say that we are in a satisfactory condition, but we should have to go more ahead of all other things. If we look at the prices during these things, we know that prices are going high, but the prices of agriculture and raw materials are constant. The red line in this graph, you can see here, it is approximately constant. And the prices of fuels are very fluctuating. The prices of food are almost constant, but metals, which were at the lower pace, are going high rapidly. So if we look at the exchange rate again, so dollar, we know that United States currency is at a higher value than the other, but you can look here, the United Kingdom currency, that is pound, is getting some decline from 2015, and it is at the lowest one. China is somehow at constant pace, but the euro area currency is increasing, and the currencies of Japan, China, and euro has come to the same point in 2021. If we look at the global PMI index, which is a production management index, and you can see a very high slump in 2021, and which is obvious due to the lockdown. But in 2008, when the Lehman Brothers crisis was happened, the decrease was 30.6, and this time the score of this PMI was 30.6. If it is below 50, we call it a negative decline, and if it is above 50, we say that there is a positive thing. But this time, the PMI has gone down more than the financial crisis time period. If we look at the India's situation of the international trade, you can look here that we have a gap of between exports and imports. Maybe it is a mercantile trade, maybe it is a commercial services, and maybe it is intermediate goods. But one positive thing is, in commercial services, our exports are higher than our imports. In the second graph, left hand side, you can see here, blue line which shows the exports is up, and the red line of imports is low. But in other things like manufacturing, intermediate and merchandise trade, India's imports are far higher than the exports. So we have to think about to reduce this gap. and what we can do into this. What are the prospects and challenges for India in the current situation? If we look at the global value chain, what is the global value chain? We are related to the some countries. We have forward linkages, we have backward linkages, and in global value chains, we are contributing something to the forward linkages and backward linkages. And you can see here, the India is situated at the 4th position, and we are sharing the 10% in the global value chain. This is the data of 2005 to 15 average data. And here you can see that Vietnam, it has the 1st position and it has the share of 16%. Even China is also at the 3rd position. Now the trends are changing. People want to move from China and they are searching for the other countries where are the labor is very cheap, where they can find the infrastructural facilities, and there lies the prospects for India, as well as the risk also, because some of our counterparts in Asia and other countries are giving us a tough competition. If we look at the situation or position of India in exports and imports, in mercantile trade, we are sharing only 1.9% in exports and imports 2.5%. But in commercial services, we are at the 5th rank in exports in overall world trade and imports in 7. But you can look at here is, though our rank is higher in export, but our rank is also higher in imports, which says that our balance of payment is not so good. We have to either increase our exports or we have to reduce our imports. Then only we will be at a good situation. This is the annual percentage change from 2008 to 18. And again, you can see that Vietnam, Bangladesh even are doing better than us. Mexico, Brazil are going to give us the tough competition. In commercial services, India is at the last position among these 10-12 countries, and Philippines, Chinese Taipei, which we generally known as Taiwan, Vietnam, Philippines, Macau, China, they are again ahead of us. If we look at the commodities export, where India stands, so you will be maybe happy that in these commodities, India is among top leading exporters. And this data is of 2020. And I have also taken the data of 2018 as well, so that we can compare the pre and post COVID situation. And no much change have been occurred. It is almost somehow same. We have the benefit reveal comparative advantage in agricultural products, food, textiles, iron and steel, chemicals. In automotive products, we stand at 10th rank in 2018 and was expecting that due to the COVID-19 outbreak in the China, when the countries, other developed countries was thinking to shift their production houses from China, we were expecting. And before that, when in America and China trade war happens, we also think that we will get benefited from these things. But to be our surprise, we didn't get the benefit. Even some of the factories have shifted to the other countries. What were the reasons? We have to analyze. In commercial services, also in transport, travel and exports, other commercial services, construction, ICT services, we are doing very well. And financial services, insurance and pension services, other business services, India is among 10 leading exporters. We have to look at our capacities, our capabilities, so that we can give our 100%, even more than 100%, so that we should have benefit. I have calculated the revealed comparative advantage from Bella-Blasa formula, and we can be very happy that though our revealed comparative advantage is far higher than the other countries, though we are in the lower rank, but our revealed comparative advantage is higher, which shows that we have the potential to do more better. These are the 10 leading exporters. Generally, I have taken the 10 leading exporters of every commodity and calculated the revealed comparative advantage of India. And you can see here many commodities we are having revealed comparative advantage more than the China. But the question arises then, why we are less in volume of trade? So this could be because we are not using our full potentials. The investments we are getting are not adequate. The skill we have are not adequate. I will discuss these things in the next part of my discussion. In automotive products also, India has a very not so good advantage, but it is higher than the other country like China. You can see here our revealed competitive advantage is 0.6, but China has 0.3 only. In textile, India has 3.47. It is a very high comparative advantage. And if the figure is greater than 2.5, it is known as a stronger advantage. In textile, we have a very good advantage. As well as if we look at the services, India is doing already well and have a good advantage. In financial services, in ICT, our score is 2.72, which is again very high. In other business services, we have 1.45 something, which is also very good. From this analysis, we can find out that office and tele equipments, which are the prominent things in now worlds when we are dealing with this online working and internet and computer services, these are the areas where we can find the scope. Automobile products, though our revealed comparative advantage is not so much high, but we can provide very good facilities to the automobile producers, which we have proved in the past. So we can explore these areas to get benefited. Textile and clothing, as I have already mentioned. Intermediate good exports, it is also the area remaining where India has not done much better. We have very much potential for taking the commodities from other countries, making them, and then export. Because we have a large population and a cheap labor, we can do far better in this intermediate good exports, but we are not doing very well, means not remarkable achievement is there. In maintenance and repair services, we have so many IIT students, ITI students who can do this. We have a large ratio of unemployed ITI people, and we can do better in maintenance and repair services. Even we are exporting and importing, and we are the 8th importer of the maintenance and repair services. There we can do well. Why we are not doing well, though we have the potential? So I tried to analyze these things also, and I have taken ease of doing business index, global innovation index, global competitiveness index, global talent competitiveness index, and logistic performance index, and compare our competitors, the comparative status of India with our competitors, and find out that we are at the lower end. Not at the last, but somehow we are lacking behind in all these indices, which indicate how much we are innovating, which indicate how much we are competing. Ease of doing business, as you all know, that we are it gives us the glimpse of the business environment in an economy. There also these are the rankings in this particular group, but actually India stands at the 63rd position. In the global innovation index, we stands at 46th position. In global talent competitive index, we stand at 72nd position, having the second large population of the world, and our talent is at the 72nd position. In the global competitive index, we stand at 43rd, and in logistic performance index, we stand at 44. So there the lacuna is we have to make our business environment very friendly. We have to spend in research and development. We have to inculcate our innovative minds to the production, and these are the ways through which we can reach or we can lead the world. What I have done is I have create a composite index to calculate the overall business environment of India and overall business environment as well as our overall potential strength among our competitive countries. And you can see here that India stands after China. It is obvious, but after Thailand, Turkey, and Mexico also. This is really very shocking. Vietnam is not far behind us in business-friendly environment and all these things. We are near ahead, and anytime this country can overcome us. Philippines, even Indonesia, we have to take care of these things. If we look at where we are going, our patent, this is the data of our patent applications and patent grants in Indian office. And you can see a huge gap here. We are applying, but the grants are very low. One more phenomena which I want to discuss is discuss towards the global trends. We all know that cryptocurrency market is increasing very rapidly, and in our budget and the budget sessions in Indian government is also thinking about introducing the digital currency. I'll say that it's a need of the hour. We have to think about this also, because India is the first holder of cryptocurrency honors. We have approximately 100 million honors of cryptocurrency, and so I should say that we do not have any scope that we will not go to digitalize. If we will not go, then this large sector we will going to lose this large sector, because the future relates to the digitalization, and we have to go with that. So lastly, my policy suggestions for the development of India is we have to increase our competitive efficiency through skill development, and we all know that Make in India, Skill India, Local for Vocal, and so many programs are going on, but we have to make them effective at the grassroots level. Not only in the theories, not only in the books, not only in the speeches. Firstly, to become the global, we have to become the local. That's really true. And to be the part of the global value chain, we first have to become the part of the regional value chain. And through my data, I have proved that in Asian countries, even we are not doing well as we can do. Increase educated and skilled manpower, and we have to spend more on research and development and innovation. We have not achieved even 6% for the higher education expenditure. So we have to invest more in the human power. Then only we can lead the world, because India, it is well said that in the vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. And India is the country of vulnerability. If we will invest in our people, then we will be more innovative, and the coming world will relate to the innovative peoples only. Business environment should be liberal and transparent. The days of registration of property and establishing the business is very high in India. Making the process of establishing and operating a business is very complicated in India. We have to file many forms for that. Our taxes are very high, and the system of tax filing is also very complicated. So we have to liberalize our business environment. We have to make it transparent. Corruption is also the one hurdle for that, and we have to remove it. And the areas where we have to find the our young people have to find the opportunities. They are the telecommunication products, textiles, even processed agricultural commodities are more required. We are good in agriculture, but we have to think innovative to make those agricultural production to add value to those products, so that we can get extra amount from the trading. We should have to focus on digital revolution by introducing digital currency, and also focus on industry 4 and revolution. So this is all we have to done. Then only we will be able to cope up with the world. And this is all from my side. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Neha Paliwal, ma'am, and in a very comprehensive manner, you represented that, and it was surprising too that India has the highest cryptocurrency honors, and though India has the largest population, if we talk about global indices, there are many loopholes in which the research scholars can move on. So now coming to the conclusion of this conference, हम लोगों ने फूल की फोरम से शुरुआत करके इकोनॉमिक फोरम तक की एक मल्टीडिसिप्लिनरी इन रियल सेंस कॉन्फ्रेंस में से वी पास्ड थ्रू. Started from Dr. Mahendra Singh Parmar. He discussed about how literature can be correlated with innovation. Then Dr. Kilesh Mishra sir gave a wonderful knowledge with the help of Bhagavad Gita and our biological systems and language. Then Dr. Sumitra Sharma, उन्होंने बहुत खूबसूरत तरीके से सोशल स्टडीज के अंदर किस तरह से हम इनोवेशन कर सकते हैं. She discussed about the same thing. Dr. Kubur Srivastav ma'am, she discussed about psychological immune system. एंड उन्होंने बताया कि किस तरह से एक आम इंसान अपने साइकोलॉजिकल इम्यून सिस्टम की मदद से अपनी जिंदगी खूबसूरत कर सकते हैं. हाउ द रिसेंट रिसर्च स्कॉलर्स कैन वर्क अपॉन इट. Dr. Paresh Joshi sir realized us about the great Vedic wealth and ancient wealth that India has, and at the end Dr. Neha Paliwal presented about various economic and demographic and growth related aspects of India in context to the nation. So now I would like to thank all the legendary speakers and all the people that have participated in this conference. And now I would like to call Mr. Yogesh Joshi sir, who is an in-charge principal of Gopinathji Mahila Arts and Commerce College. And I would like to invite him to give a thanking speech to all our dignitaries and some of this conference. Dr. Yogesh Joshi sir.
खूब खूब धन्यवाद हिमांशु शाह सर. आज हम स्वामी श्री परमहंस फाउंडेशन ट्रस्ट संचालित गोपीनाथ जी महिला कॉलेज सीहोर आर्ट्स एंड कॉमर्स, महाराजा कृष्ण कुमार सिंह जी भावनगर यूनिवर्सिटी संलग्न आज इस वर्चुअल नेशनल मल्टीडिस्पेंसरी कॉन्फ्रेंस इन इनोवेशन एंड रिसर्च ट्रेड्स इन कॉमर्स एंड ह्यूमैनिटीज, इस विषय को लेकर जब हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी रिसर्च पर इतना जोर दे रही है, तब इस संस्था को रिसर्च की ओर एक कदम रखने के लिए ये पहला कदम इस नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस के माध्यम से हमने रखा है. इस नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस के माध्यम से गवर्नमेंट और यूजीसी रिसर्च पर जो इतना जोर दे रही है, तो हमारी संस्था स्वामी श्री परमहंस फाउंडेशन ट्रस्ट संचालित गोपीनाथ जी महिला आर्ट्स एंड कॉमर्स कॉलेज सीहोर ने इस कॉन्फ्रेंस के माध्यम से यह पहला कदम रिसर्च की ओर हमने रखा. आप सब जानते हैं, हम सब जानते हैं कि न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी, न्यू शिक्षा पॉलिसी जो है, इसका मूल मंत्र इनोवेशन पर जोर दिया है. इनोवेशन के जोर के वजह से इस विचार को साकारित करने के लिए जो हमने सहयोग प्राप्त किए, जो हमने मार्गदर्शन प्राप्त हुए, इन सभी तज्ञों को, आज जो तज्ञ इस हमारे प्रथम सेशन में जो उपस्थित रहे हैं, इन सभी का मैं योगेश जोशी, इंचार्ज प्रिंसिपल गोपीनाथ जी महिला आर्ट्स एंड कॉमर्स कॉलेज सीहोर तरफ से आप सभी तज्ञों का जो रिसर्च के बारे में जो जानकारी, इन सभी पार्टिसिपेट जिन्होंने पेपर पेश किया है, जो अध्यापक गण इसमें शामिल हुए हैं, इस सभी को आपका विषय में तज्ञ द्वारा हमें जो मार्गदर्शन मिला है, इससे हम खूब आभार व्यक्त करते हैं। हमारे इस नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस के कीनोट स्पीकर थे डॉक्टर महेंद्र सिंह परमार, गुजराती डिपार्टमेंट, महाराजा कृष्ण कुमार सिंह जी, भावनगर यूनिवर्सिटी। दूसरे डॉक्टर अखिलेश मिश्रा जी, एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ कॉमर्स, श्री इंद्रोडिया कॉलेज ऑफ दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी। डॉक्टर सुमित्रा शर्मा, असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ सोशियोलॉजी, एमएल सुखड़िया यूनिवर्सिटी उदयपुर से। डॉक्टर कुमुद श्रीवास्तव, और डॉक्टर परेश जोशी जी, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ इंग्लिश, वीर नर्मद, साउथ गुजरात यूनिवर्सिटी से। और डॉक्टर नेहा पालीवाल जी, असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स, एमएल सुखड़िया कॉलेज उदयपुर से। और हमारे आगामी जो सेशन है, इसके टेक्निकल जो चेयरमैन है, इन सभी तज्ञों का जो मार्गदर्शन हमें मिला है, और हमारा रिसर्च की ओर, इनोवेशन की ओर, संशोधन की ओर जो पहला कदम था इस संस्था का, और आपने हमारा उत्साह बढ़ाया, सहयोग प्राप्त किया, मार्गदर्शन किया, इस वजह से मैं हमारी संस्था और हमारे संस्था परिवार की ओर से आप सभी का हृदयपूर्वक खूब अभिवादन करता हूँ, खूब धन्यवाद करता हूँ। और दूसरे सेशन में जो सेशन में जो चेयरमैन है डॉक्टर सुमित्रा शर्मा जी, डॉक्टर बीसी अजमेरा जी, डॉक्टर सविता वाघेला जी, डॉक्टर बलभद्र सिंह चुडासमा, डॉक्टर कविता पंड्या और डॉक्टर विशाल पंड्या, इन सभी अध्यापक गण का जो हमें सहयोग और मार्गदर्शन मिलने वाला है, तो मैं खूब हृदयपूर्वक आप सभी का धन्यवाद करता हूं, आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। सभी इस नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस में जिन्होंने शोध पेपर पेश किया है और जिन्होंने पार्टिसिपेट किया है, और जो शोध छात्र है, जो अध्यापक है, और इंडस्ट्री के संलग्न जो मेंबर है, इन सभी का जो भी इस नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस में हमारे सहयोग किया, और हमारी जो टेक्निकल टीम, हमारे अध्यापक गण, भौतिक नगरिया जी, हिमांशु शाह, हमारे नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस के कोऑर्डिनेटर सिद्धराज सर जी, इन सभी का मैं हृदयपूर्वक खूब धन्यवाद करता हूं, आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। अस्तु, जय हिंद, जय भारत।
Thank you so much to all of you. Or Gopinathji Mahila College expect the same response from all such experts. And there are no words to say thanks because we have got so many good things, good knowledge and good information from your side. And और ये जो सारी चीजें हैं वो रिसर्च स्कॉलर को आगे बढ़ने के लिए बहुत यूजफुल होगी, उसके लिए आप सब लोगों का दिल से धन्यवाद। अब दूसरा जो सेशन है वो 2:30 शार्प 2:30 PM को शुरू होगा। तो जितने भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स यहाँ पर ज्वाइन हुए हैं उन सभी लोगों को सेकंड सेशन जो टेक्निकल सेशन है उसका शेड्यूल सेंड कर ईमेल, और उसकी गूगल लिंक भी आपको शेयर कर दी गई है। तो ऑल द पार्टिसिपेंट्स जो सेकंड टेक्निकल सेशन में ज्वाइन होने वाले हैं, दे आर रिक्वेस्टेड टू ज्वाइन एट 2:30 PM। तब तक के लिए हैव अ नाइस डे एंड एक्सपेक्टिंग द सेम रिस्पांस फ्रॉम ऑल ऑफ यू। थैंक्स अ लॉट, हैव अ नाइस।
हार्दिक शुभेच्छा।
जी मैडम, थैंक यू सो मच।
खूब खूब अभिनंदन।
थैंक यू मैडम, थैंक यू सो मच।
थैंक यू मैम।
See you.